Hello, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Of course, today is Wednesday morning. We have a night show tonight at 7 o'clock U.S. Eastern Time. And I just want to let you guys know. Yeah, I know it's Wednesday. I don't want to go too much into the Ed story, but we have worked out some of the issues. And Ed is currently on his channel is talking to some of the individuals about what happened. I don't know what Stan said to Ed in private. I have no idea what was said. All I know is, for the time being at this point, is the situation is under control. That's all I really can tell you. That for the time being is under control. I don't have the details of what was said, how it was said, between Ed and Stan. But I do know that Ed felt a lot better about himself later on. Yeah, Ed's still here. Where else would that be? Yeah. He didn't even get a chance to talk to the landlord yet. He didn't get a chance to. Seems stream. Why is the Streamlabs chat's not showing up on the screen? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe. Let's see. YouTube stream chat is on, but let's see. Well, I can get YouTube's own stream chat out here. Oh, okay, there it goes. Finally, just like, so I wonder if there was just a slight catch up with, Streamlabs chat. Because right now it seems to be working. So anyway, like I said, its situation is, for the time being, is under control. No one wants to fight anybody. First of all, there's a couple things I will just say up front right now, just to understand. There is a rental agreement between Ed and the landlord that needs to be worked out between the landlord and Ed. The landlord can move him to another apartment. Okay? That's a given. And it's a good possibility it can happen. Okay, Ed agreed he does need more room for his train stuff. But if there is no other apartment, then we need to find a better solution for that. But right now, he apologized for getting mad at me. I know I've heard the wimble before. I've known it. I've seen it. Okay, but I'm saying at least, he said, first of all, he says it's not your fault. I got to stop taking it out on you. It's a start. But I still would like to know why the people do that. But I don't have control over that. Ed is a man who has had a lot of emotional abuse from his childhood that he's never gotten rid of. Okay? I told him, since you can get therapy because your Medicaid paid for it, get it. You're not in the same situation I'm in where you got to ante up the money for your own therapy. Or you don't have to worry about going for special scholarships to get therapy for 6 months at a time. Now, I know that may not... Now, he has his own rental agreement with the landlord. That's what I'm saying. It's completely separate agreements. The apartment is mine. at least $800 of it is, and another $400 is Ed's. But that's a separate agreement between Ed and Jimmy. That's not the one between me and Ed. So, so Jimmy needs to talk to Ed, and that's all I'm going to say at this point. Just to say negotiations are ongoing. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, let's table this because I'm really getting tired of dragging it up every day. It is getting to be absolutely monotonous. Okay. Have you considered acquiring? No, and nor am I going to suggest a pain collar for him either. God. Be serious. Be serious. Okay, come on. Well, okay, I understand that, but I've also known Ed's good side too. After all, I've been with him for 25 years. He does have a good side. He does have positive traits as well. Everybody can see all the bad in a person, but have you ever looked at the good that person has? Everybody has good. It's not all bad. All right, let me get the panel open before I forget, okay? Because I do have it ready to go. I just didn't copy the link yet. You guys actually should know the link by now. Yeah, I'm sure they do. I'm sure someone's copied the link. All right, so Command V. Okay. We go through this every day. Every morning, the same link. Surprised that YouTube lets me, or Google Meets lets me recycle the link so much. He has to talk to Jimmy, because that is not between me and him about the housing arrangement. I do not personally think he wants to hurt me. It's not what he wants. He does not want to hurt me. I know that for a fact he doesn't want to hurt me. But could he hurt me? It's possible. Yeah, but it's not because he wants to hurt me. But that's all I'm going to say. Because, I'm really tired of talking about this topic. We've covered it for 5 days? 6 days? Almost actually several weeks. About 2 weeks. Yeah, he usually does. Talk to Jimmy outside. Yeah, I know. But that's all I'm saying for right now is for the immediate time being, it's under control. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to keep going on with this morning every day after day after day after day after day. It's really wearing me down. Okay? Me and Ed had a pretty good summer. We didn't do anything wrong when he came here. He didn't have anything wrong in the summer. It was only during the fact that we were all cooped up inside the building because of winter, or actually right prior to winter, say about in October, November, that basically, Ed doesn't really have the option to walk away easily. Or, of course, he could go in the bedroom, which I'm surprised he doesn't. He uses the laptop in the bedroom. Why doesn't he use the laptop in the bedroom? I don't know. If he was in the bedroom, then of course you would be mad because you'd be like, you want to go to sleep, and he's going to I sleep pretty much at night. See, here's what happened now with the sleeping arrangements. Just so you understand this. Most of the time, Ed is up when I'm asleep. Okay. And then when I get up, he goes to sleep. And then for a few hours a day, we're both in the same bed sleeping. Then I get up, he gets up. Okay. So I get about 8 hours sleep. He gets about 8 hours sleep. As long as you get the sleep you need, that's the first thing. It helps a lot to keep control. How you doing, DVR? Oftentimes, a victim of domestic violence can. No, I don't see myself as a person that's in the wrong. I don't believe that at all. No, I don't see myself as in the wrong. Yeah, I know. I strongly doubt Cruiser ever would want to move to Winstead because Cruiser's is a native of California. He has visited places like Maine. He is much more comfortable in his native area of California. I don't think he would ever want to move to Winstead. I mean, it's like Maine. Part of it is very, very rural. I don't think Cruiser would like that very much. So for right now, guys, Leo is going to talk to me and Ed later today. That's all I'm going to say at this point. Okay? But I really would like to cover something else this morning instead. Like what? Anything. Oh, anything. Okay. Let's see. Get a phone message. Stafford Springs. Arlington, Texas? What the heck is all this garbage? Alright, so let's get some news in first to start. No, it's not the Drudge Report, but it's pretty much House Democrat retirement announcements surge ahead of 2022 midterm fights for races within the majority. Marines being crushed by refusing vaccine, thousands face dismissal. NFL legend John Madden dead at 85. Health official makes accusations against Biden administration key COVID treatment. Rob Schneider praises Arizona cops after his car breaks down. San Francisco father murdered 6-year-old says district attorney's policy led to no accountability. Biden issues proclamation revoking travel ban in 8 southern African countries. CNN reporter mocked for gifting himself an at-home rapid coronavirus test for Christmas. Wait, what? CNN reporter mocked for gifting himself at home rapid coronavirus test for Christmas? I don't know if that's such a bad thing. A time capsule at the Robert E. Lee statue site reveals Civil War era artifacts. NYPD canceled scheduled days off, requiring all uniformed officers to work over New Year's. Governor Noem demands Biden rescind federal COVID mandates. Quote, he doesn't have the authority. Why MSNBC's Claire McCaskill feels Garland could go down in infamy as one of the worst attorney generals. Princeton student says his college experience basically ruined by COVID. Sorry about that. Talking about what's ruined by COVID. CBC says Omicron less prevalent than reported as USC's record rise in cases. Yeah, and I did see that. The number of cases that are actually Omicron is actually less than 50%. So let me read you that article in detail. The CDC significantly reduced its estimates for how prevalent the Omicron variant of COVID-19 is in the United States on Tuesday, saying that the new variant was only responsible for 22.5 of new cases in the week that ended on December 18th, not the alarming 73.2% that had originally estimated last week. For the week ending December 25th, the agency says Omicron accounted for 58.6% of the new cases. Jasmine Reed, a spokesperson for the CDC, noted that there was a wide predictive interval posted in last week's chart, and the downward revision was partly due to the speed at which Omicron was increasing. CDC's models have a range, and we're still seeing steady increase in the proportion of Omicron, Reed told Fox News Digital. In some regions of the country, Omicron accounts for approximately 90% or more of cases. Dr. Jerome Adams, the former Surgeon General in the Trump administration, explained that the revision was likely partly due to a responder bias caused by testing quirk with Omicron called S gene dropout, in which one of the 3 target genes is not detected. When that gene is not detected, it can be an immediate marker for Omicron. A lot of people were seeing this S dropout on the tests even before they got the follow-up genetic testing, so those samples were disproportionately more likely to be sent in for sequencing, Edna told Fox News Digital. As the CDC collects more data, it can now more accurately pinpoint the proportion of each variant throughout the country, according to Dr. Lee Tang, an associate faculty member in the Department of Biostatistics at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Quote, earlier they relied on a small number of available sequences. It should also be noted, although this confidence interval now is narrower, the range is still big, covering from 41.5% to 74%, suggesting large uncertainty, Tang told Fox News Digital. Oh, lies, damn lies, and statistics. Yeah. It's a hell of a range to go from 41 to 74%. Okay, who is Camo Dave? I don't know who Camo Dave is. I really don't know who Camo Dave is. Gonna call Area 51's hazmat team Bravo. God, I miss Dory. Dory really wasn't that bad. But the problem is that Dory knew I was too tight with Lumi, and so that she knew that it wasn't gonna work between me and her. Working on that, guys. He was a critic mostly in the RV community. What do you mean by a critic in the RV community? Did he critique the different types of motorhome designs and constructions? Critique the fact that you have only a limited amount of space in an RV and to do things? Is he critiquing the fact that you have to basically live in a small little box? That's what an RV is. Yeah, this is my show. The morning show is much more open because it's sleeping. He doesn't hear what's going on in the morning show. That's an advantage. You want to do some tarot card readings? Okay. Let's do some tarot card readings. Who wants a tarot card reading? Pop open your mouth and say me. What about start with the first one, today's oracle card? I gotta get some more of these oracle cards because I would love to get some other ones. Yeah, let's start with today's oracle card. Today's general oracle card reading. Okay. Today's goddesses and mothers card for today. Let's see. Let me put the camera on so you can see the card reading. Actually, it's just one card anyway, it doesn't matter. The card is Hecate, Magic and Crossroads, number 13. Hecate, Magic and Crossroads. So, what does Hecate got to say today? Magic and Crossroads. So there's a shop in Winston called Crossroads on 102 Riverton Road. Okay, Hecate. Message is relatively short. Have the courage to step into the new and unknown. Know you have the power to co-create with me and all that is happening at the perfect time for your journey. Light and clarity will be provided to enable you to take the next step. Let go of the idea that there are wrongs or rights choices, or that everything is black and white. Trust your choices. You are enough. Do not fear change. Remember that crossroads are a source of constant growth. Develop and use your skills of divination and intuition. Okay. Very interesting. I'm not sure how to make best understand that, but just you got to use your divination and intuition. Ray showed Michelle. Does Ray still come around? Rachel does still come around. Yeah. I was in chat. You are full of BS. Let me get caught up here. You guys here have the wrenches. I remember, Angel, and you used to have a wrench too. Blah blah blah. Huh. He has apologized, guys, for much of the stuff that was said. Let's not keep, dragging old stuff up. over and over again. I'm just getting caught up here, Michelle. We're trying to help you because we care. I know you do. And Patty wrote checks to herself from Michelle's account. You could say that. She actually managed to try to cash like the same check like twice. And then was forced to give up the money to the bank twice. Yeah. Well, Michelle's a hermaphrodite / intersex. So, yeah, some could say that. But if you look at the way Michelle's emotions and gender is, it's definitely not masculine. That's my job. I'm the masculine one. Yeah, I mean, if I was physically separate person, I would be the one with the penis. Yeah, that's true. Lemmy would have the penis. If we were to separate, she would have the penis, I have the twat. This body is two souls, so therefore it's got physical traits of both the masculine and the feminine. So let me get caught up here. Blah 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 blah. And capitals do not help your cause. LOL. If you have it, you would be producing it by now. And what's the evidence you're asking about, Andrew? I did submit my birth, my ID card and birth certificate information. Some people do have the evidence. It is in the documentary, guys. Let's see if we can get some people on the panel to get things more exciting this morning. Yeah. Oh, let's go with everyone. Everyone? I don't know. So I don't know. Is Leo on? No. Oh, Leo's not there? No, Leo's not there. Okay. Why don't we get Metal Kitty on here then? Yeah, let's get some of you guys on the panel. Let's talk. So, I'm doing okay, Andrew. I know that not everybody likes Andrew, but honestly, I think he can be a very good, important person and special in his own way, which is what makes him welcome here. After all, let's be honest, we are kind of a heterogeneous group of people of various cultures, backgrounds, and a real open opportunity to learn about different cultures, backgrounds. That's what makes this channel unique. That's good. I don't know where Ed is asleep. Okay, we don't have to worry about Ed in the morning show. I think it would be best not to keep dragging Ed out on the panel when he doesn't want to come on the panel. What's really gross? Angela will never be important over here or in his own life. I can't speak for Andrew's personal life. All I know is that who the heck is... Oh, see who it is. You know the procedure. Yeah, I know the procedure. Go ahead.
Hail and Merry meet, Michelle.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing alright.
Wanted to talk to you about Ed today.
I've been talking about Ed for the last week. I'm really kind of tired of talking about Ed today.
Well, I'm sorry, Michelle. I just haven't caught your show in some time. But how familiar are you with domestic violence?
Very. My mother had
So
to face it with my father. My sister had to deal with domestic violence. I went to the Susan B. Anthony Women's Counseling Center for a while. Oh, yeah, I know about domestic violence. Thank you very much. I know all about.
Are you concerned at all about domestic violence happening to you?
Yeah, it's possible. But I've also know that there are ways that we can keep it at bay. First of all, in some cases, it might be easier for Michelle to get out of the situation. In some cases, to get away. If she had a car, one of the things that the Susan B. Anthony Center said is that in some cases in domestic violence, it might be easier for you to get out. Go to a hotel. If you have a car, to get safely out of harm's way. Unfortunately, the problem is that doesn't work if a person has multiple handicaps and they can't drive. And I don't have a car and I don't have a horse. All right, so Michelle
Have you
can't
considered?
even
Sorry,
ride
Michelle,
into
I
the
didn't mean to-
sunset. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, have you considered locking the door when he goes for like beer?
We order beer through Instacart, and he actually has a separate rental agreement with the landlord than me. So he legally has the right to be here because the landlord agreed with him on those terms. He pays a completely separate rent. He has a completely separate lease.
It's a written agreement?
It's a rental agreement, gentleman's agreement between him and Ed, landlord and Ed.
A gentleman's agreement. So it was like a handshake.
Yeah, that's what a gentleman's agreement is. But also,
Michelle, you can lock the door.
Also, it's also written in a letter, which is admissible as a document going to the Department of Social Services that says Ed lives here and pays $400 a month, and he cooks his own food, which he does. Yeah, and that they give the contact information with the landlord and other information supporting his claim.
Right. So you're just stuck with a violent deviant in your home? There's no way around it?
Good morning, Leo.
Morning.
She's getting her microphone ready.
I'm letting your friend talk to you.
That's definitely a tough one, Michelle. I'm just concerned because I remember how you sort of acted with Mike Vitale and how you acted with Patty.
Michael Vitale did not have a separate lease with the landlord. And Michael Vitale really was out of control. He was the one I did have to throw out because there was no separate lease. Because the way it was written with Michael Vitale, he wasn't even supposed to be here. So
what's the difference between Michael Vitale's blow up and Ed's blow up?
Well, the first difference is Michael Vitale was actually just doing was literally going to hit me. All right, hold on a minute. Let me get this Paul on here. Good morning. Oh yeah, Michael Vitale's was not alcohol induced. It was meant to, because again, he was having some serious issues with anger management, which he didn't even get treatment about, and it wasn't even exasperated by alcohol. Now, the situation also with Michael Vitale was he didn't have a lease. He didn't have any agreement with the landlord. He wasn't even supposed to be here. So it was easier for me to send him on his merry way because he didn't have any legal contract with the landlord. Right. And the landlord wanted him out anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. So Jimmy may very well have a different apartment for Ed. But we haven't known until
Michelle, my concern is that consistently in my experience of knowing you, which has been a long time now, you make excuses for the people around you that abuse you. And it's just concerning. It's just concerning to see it happening again. I saw Patty almost took you for everything you own.
Yeah, I know.
Damn near your life.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I don't know why we do that. Because Michelle, you're part of the reason is you don't want to upset yourself and upset them because part of you wants them here and part of you doesn't want them here. See, with the homeless Mike, it was easy because he didn't actually have anything invested in here. He didn't have a rental contract with the landlord. And you wanted him out because he was a slob. I wanted him out because of his slob, and also was the fact that he was not even welcome here by my landlord. He didn't even want him in the building. So the only thing he could give me was occasionally some food from the emergency food bank, and he had problems with his. I mean, he really was not doing well emotionally. He was even more peeling apart than Ed was because it just wasn't doing well. And he was involved using, recreational drugs that really worried me because I was afraid that, the DEA would come down on me for some reason.
Michelle, he was smoking a little bit of marijuana.
And Michelle, that's not why he left. I'm sorry, Paul. I didn't mean to cut you off. That's not why he was left.
Yeah, Michelle. Clearly, Mike was the alpha, and Ed was intimidated by him, and you got a little bit of worried in you, and Ed complained to Jimmy.
Mike was a beta.
About Mike.
Mike was a beta.
Ed's the beta, Michelle, and
actually, what happened was Jimmy actually came up and saw them both on the porch together. Mike, which doesn't even have a rental agreement with the landlord at all, and Ed didn't at the time. He didn't like Mike because he saw Mike basically as a bum. He told him to GTFO.
Right. He wasn't getting money out of him.
Yeah, Michelle, Mike has done more for you, though. When he was staying there, if you remember, you would give Mike your card, and Mike would go to the store for you and get you stuff, and he would have no problem, never stole from you. Completely opposite. He would even help sweep up a bit, clean up the house, way more than Ed's ever done. And I wouldn't say even Ed has an agreement with the landlord, Michelle. He doesn't say, he's not on a lease. He just said, hey, give me $400 a month.
Well, Ed's not on my lease either. It's not on my lease either. It has a separate lease with the landlord.
I mean, he can leave any time.
Which I think is illegal, right, Paul? I mean the size apartment he has.
It's a month by month thing. There's no
and the size apartment you have, Michelle. I don't think. I mean, if you were married, it'd be different. But
I have never heard of being able to lease out an apartment that's already leased out.
So,
I don't believe
what
that's
that
true.
basically is, not to cut you off, Mike, but basically what that is called subleasing. So, if Michelle wanted to rent her apartment out to Ed, she would get the money towards the rent and then just pay Jimmy. But this is something
and that's
completely
what we originally
different.
wanted to do, but Jimmy said, no. You pay me completely separate from Michelle. She pays me her regular $800. You pay me $400.
Michelle,
then you should have cut your payment, Michelle. He shouldn't just.
You and Ed right now, Michelle, are paying for a 2-bedroom apartment. And
I
staying
agree,
in a 1-bedroom
but
apartment.
that's not the way it worked. However, let's keep one thing in mind: is since Ed is technically Jimmy is Ed's landlord directly, Jimmy can relocate Ed to another apartment, and it's completely separate from me. Which means, for example, if I ever wanted to start evictions against Ed, I would have no legal leg to stand on because I don't have the contract. It's between Jimmy and Ed, not me.
They don't have one either, though, Michelle. They don't have a contract.
But you do have legal standing, Michelle, because you have threats that have been publicly videotaped.
Yeah.
Him threatening your life.
Right. Almost Mike also did something similar too. We all remember that, right?
Not as much as Ed has, to be honest. I mean, homeless Mike did that one time.
Well, we're not saying that Mike is any better than Ed.
Yeah.
We're just saying there's a pattern here, Michelle.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no. One time is enough. It doesn't matter how many times. One time is enough.
And not even just him threatening you, he degrades you, Michelle. I was reading some of those comments that he was making about you. That's abuse. Like when he comes at you like that.
But like he also admitted when he came back from the meeting with Stan, he realized, he said, Stan explained it to me. He says, you're not responsible for what those people said in the phone calls and on the panels because you're not the one who's encouraging it. He said, I'm sorry, I didn't see the fact that you're not encouraging those actions.
Michelle, can I ask you something?
What?
You're the North American Snow Queen, right?
Yeah.
What snow queen or queen in general allows themselves to be abused, whether it's verbal or physical?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. My work is weather. It's not. I mean, if the Queen of England was abused by Prince Philip, I mean, I don't know what she would do, or with her late husband. I mean, I think that she would have said, "Hey, I write the laws, and guess what? You're abusing me. I can throw you in irons. I can throw you in the dungeon somewhere, and you never see the light of day."
And her subjects would be extremely upset.
Right.
Just like your viewers and your friends are extremely upset to see you go through this.
Michelle, I think you are more valuable than to settle for getting treated like this. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. But like I said, homeless Mike, I don't know. Comparing Ed to homeless Mike, there is a bit of a difference here. The fact is, one has a lot invested here, and one had nothing invested here. I'm talking about Ed has his trades, his hobbies. Homeless Mike didn't have anything but some of his clothes.
Yeah, but
and neither one of them took baths either.
Or something. I mean, if Ed was really a friend, he would be paying you something.
Yeah, he said next month with the increase in the Social Security, he wants to put $50 towards the electric. I said, that's fine. That would help, The rental agreement, though, between him and Jimmy. See, originally when he was going to come here, he thought it was going to be like a sublease, like you said. Okay, Michelle, I pay $400 for rent. She still pays Jimmy the $800, but now, so Jimmy still gets $800, but Michelle only actually effectively pays $400. But the problem, the reason why Jimmy didn't do that was then Ed would be getting a lot less than food stamps. Maybe as low as $10 a month.
It doesn't matter. Michelle, you guys would have an extra $400. I mean, Jimmy's a goddamn scam artist is what it is, Michelle. He wasn't doing it for your guys'
He's an Aries.
He's doing it for his sake.
Aries do that.
Oh, Jimmy has been profoundly a piece of shit throughout the history of Michelle being blind. When she fell and slipped and broke her leg, the whole point when she got imprisoned by Patty, he somehow talked her out of a real fucking lawsuit. Like, Michelle was going to get real compensation for this. In order to get her apartment back, she dropped everything. It's so unreal what a slimy fucking piece of shit this guy.
He still charged her rent for when she was at
Patty's. In addition to that, don't forget the landlord also dropped his evictions
on top of it.
Yeah.
Fuck me and pay me, bitch. It's insane.
Yeah, he could have at least let her, have her apartment for those 2 months rent free because it was, his fault, and been lucky he didn't get a lawsuit. Yeah, Jimmy, Michelle, you technically could be owning those apartments right now if you would have sued Jimmy. You should have sued that guy.
Yeah, and he would have had he couldn't have kicked you out or anything because you would have had another lawsuit.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Well, I don't know how that works. See, I was just afraid because the fact is that I had a lot invested in this apartment, which I still do. Yeah, Michelle was afraid that if she lost the lawsuit, then she would lose everything in her apartment. Because they would not have they would have not have put a stay on any eviction. Because
no, if you lost the lawsuit, you just would have lost the lawsuit. Jimmy couldn't have sued you for anything. You didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
But then Michelle would have still lost everything.
Technically, Michelle, you wouldn't be suing Jimmy. You would be suing his property insurance,
the estate or whatever.
Right.
That's what he.
But that would still
unless he
mean,
doesn't
wouldn't
have it, but then
Jimmy?
you would be suing
Well,
him.
wouldn't that mean in that case that Jimmy would also say, "I can't have you stay here because of conflict of interest, even if you paid the rent"? Yeah. That's
Oh
fine.
well, Michelle, you would have literally have like $100,000. You could move anywhere you wanted to.
Yeah,
You
you
wouldn't
could
need
have
to stay
had
there.
a brand new knee. You could have had your own place on a first floor level.
Oh, by the way, even though it's not directly related, the people are actually kind of demanding that Kamala Harris go back and support her promise when she was senator for the $2,000 a month stimulus check.
People.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but
I'd say probably strongly not.
I don't think so.
Like I said, don't count on that stuff. I mean, if it happens, great, but don't count on it.
All right. Well, those just that we were concerned. Me and Michelle, Patty couldn't care less one way or the other. She was looking at the dollar signs. But is that because if Michelle sued Jimmy and her stuff was in his apartment building, would he say, "I'm throwing you out because of conflict of interest"? Not only because you're about 2 months behind in the rent.
He couldn't, Michelle. Because any good lawyer would see that you would have a case, and if anything, he could tie him up in the courts for a while. There would have been no way for him to throw you out because you got hurt on his property. What legal standing did he have to throw you out?
Yeah. But don't forget, he also broke his wrist too. So in a way, Jimmy karma has been balanced.
Yeah, but
he slipped and fell in the back.
Jimmy's got
and
the
broke
money
his
to
wrist.
take care of himself.
Yeah, he's got the money to take care of himself, but the doctors can't fix his damn wrist.
Well,
either that or Jimmy just went and got the cheapest doctor he can get his hands on.
When you're a schmuck in real life, I guess, the karma hits you eventually.
Yeah.
You ever heard that expression, Michelle? Nice guys finish last.
Yeah.
If you keep letting people walk all over you, you're never going to get ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
You've had multiple times where, you had a chance to better your situation and you keep turning it down.
Well, maybe nice people may finish last in some cases, but sometimes the nice guys and gals do finish first once in a while. Yeah, once in a while.
I think she has a fear of changing her situation, like in general, like her surroundings, everything in her life.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of her being on the spectrum too.
Yeah, sure, I think that is.
And change is hard, especially at her age. She's comfortable where she's at.
Right.
Yeah,
that is true. What you guys have both said is accurate. Number one, I'm comfortable in my situation. I'm not too comfortable with change. And there is fear. Remember what said Frank Herbert's tune by the Father Monheim. Fear is the mind killer. You actually got to keep that in mind. You got great ideas, but the minute you think about all the complications, it's like, nah, I'm not going to do it. It's not worth the risk. You do it in World of Warcraft, too. The same thing. I've seen you do it. Like, okay, do I go up against this boss knowing that if I manage to get past this guy, I still got to deal with an even bigger boss in a dungeon? And you might be just about capable of doing that boss, but then you realize that once you kill that boss, you're like, oh, no. Then I have no choice but to go to the next boss. Or you're afraid to take...
Though change is scary, Michelle, the fact that, with all your factors, that you're getting older, you yourself have aches and pains, your sight isn't getting any better, your hearing isn't getting any better.
Right.
Change is a must, and change will be good for you.
But it would be helpful sometimes if Michelle had, like, a helper. A sponsor.
Exactly. And I'm working on that right now, Michelle. I'm working on that. And that's what I wanted to talk to you and Ed after the show about.
Right.
Or whenever you want to talk.
I mean, he's getting older too. He needs help also.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
going to deny talk to him
that.
As well.
We both need help.
But he needs separate help. You guys really need to go your own ways, because if anything, I mean, you guys have been friends for 25 years. If you want to salvage and keep this friendship, he needs to go his own way get help on his own, have his own space.
Right.
You
He
need
agreed
your
with me.
own
He
help.
wants his own
Right,
space.
exactly.
Ed
Exactly.
needs help getting moved out, Michelle. That's what he needs help with.
Yeah. He does need to leave. And the sooner the better. Because like I said in Discord, you said Stan talked to him and now Ed's okay. Well, Stan talked to him last time and everything was okay.
Right.
And now it's escalating. Now he's messing with your computer stuff. And he always goes back to blaming you. When he hears a comment from somebody else, he's always blaming you. He always goes back to that, even though he's said he knows it's not your fault.
Yeah.
What did he do to her computers?
When she was live streaming, he went and unplugged it.
Unplug the power cord.
Pull the wire. Yeah, unplug the power.
Wow.
And
cord.
modern computers, as you know, don't like that. They don't like an
And then he
instant
lied about it.
Alzheimer's.
He threatened to smash her computer like
Yeah.
a week or two ago, and he was mad. He threatened to smash
Yeah.
it. And
He
when she
tried to
was
grab the
sleeping.
monitor on the video. Everybody saw that.
I got
Yeah.
the timestamp on that too for
Yeah.
FC.
So yeah, I do worry about my equipment. I do worry about the fact that that's my milk. That's what makes possible for me to make the money that I make, which is an important, thing. But I think I mean, in one sense, I think I got him to understand one thing. Number one, it's my money that helps defray the costs because of the inflationary trend going on. If we ever lost the computer, we would lose the additional funds, which has been making our lives financially a little bit better. For example, Ed used to think we were doing e-bagging, and I showed him how we make money. I said, that's not e-bagging. He said, you got people that actually become members? I said, yes, they become members. They pay $5.99 a month. That was what YouTube suggested. So they don't necessarily make donations. I mean, some do also make donations too. But it's that and the advertising revenue is how we make. And I showed him how much money I made so far in December. And his eyes almost fell out of his head when he saw the price. I said, much part of that is donations. And I'm not e-begging either. And I said, it's because the fact is that people really like the content of the show. And they like the stuff that we do here. And I said, that's a big difference from what you said and Patty said, saying that I'm e-begging and all that, because that's not what I'm doing. And he said, you could do the same thing on your own channel, Ed. You have a channel. But right now, I grant you're really small. But if you work on it, I would say probably by the end of January, you could have 100 subs easy. Because of one reason. Your content is more mainstream. You can make a lot of money. In donations, and through PayPal, through Patreon. That's how I started out.
You better clean up his attitude if he wants that.
Yes, he does. And he knows that now. And he also said, I'm sorry about that. I just have an itchy ear there. Speaking
Michelle,
of ear,
don't be turning yourself on now, scratching your ear like that. You're gonna rile yourself up, Michelle. You better take it easy on the mirrors.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, you get yourself excited now.
And I gotta get some more ears anyway. Yeah, Michelle's gotta buy 2 more pairs. Yeah. But Michelle also said, like she said to Ed, is that we gotta buy other things for the house besides ears. We do gotta buy some wire for fix some of the Ethernet cables in this house, which the jack panel that we put together a couple of years ago, unfortunately, has turned out to be a big giant fiasco.
Michelle, when is Ed supposed to talk to Jimmy?
Rent day, which is on the 3rd.
Monday.
Yeah. Because that's when we pay the rent. Because Jimmy may have a place for him to go. Because he does this for people in the past. Like, for example, he has a vacant apartment right now, which is technically his landlord's apartment, but he doesn't stay there all the time. So theoretically, he could say to Ed, "Why don't you move in with me for a while?"
Okay. I don't think that. What's going to happen if Jimmy says I don't have a place for you?
Well, that's what I have a
what?
feeling. He's going to give him a. We'll see what we can do.
Oh, he could also he has done this before. He put people in the vacant storefronts. They
Well, but what if Jimmy says that's not an option? What's Ed's second plan?
There's a place in Winston. Is a rooming house right nearby that theoretically, if they have a room open, he could go there. But then you'd have to get a couple people to carry his stuff down there, or put him in a truck or whatever and carry it down there. The problem is it's not on the ground floor, and it's on the second and third floor of that place. And we know Ed has a harder time walking than me, and those stairs are friggin' steep in there.
Well, Ed never leaves the apartment anyway. I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, there is some opportunities. I'm not sure what other ones are right now open, but he did say he would talk to Jimmy about it on the 3rd. So let's just start. Because we need more room. He knows that he needs his own place because he wants to expand his hobbies. I said, you need your own apartment, Ed. He said, because, I mean, coming over, hanging out for dinner once in a while is fine. But, you need a bigger place for yourself where you can do your own thing. And I said, I'm sure DSS would give you more money, too. Especially if the rent goes up to $700 a month. Because right now, as it is, he's going to be getting $800 in January. So that's a good start, but it's gonna still be a lot of money that's gonna go out to Ed. What was it, $7.99, $55? I mean, did they round up or did they round down with the DSS money? I mean, for Social Security.
I have no.
Because we calculate, it came out to be $799.55. And so would he be getting $799 or would he get $800?
Well, he does. I'm not even worried about that. As the faster Ed can get out, the better.
Yeah, I know. We're working on it.
Yeah, I know.
We can't throw his stuff out the balcony because, again, number one, that's almost the same as what if he was to damage my computers. Because we saw this happen on Judge Judy Shineland. That's exactly what someone did. And she says, you have no legal right to touch that person's stuff. And you have and I told Ed the same thing about my computers. You have no legal right to touch my computers either. But I have no legal right to throw his stuff out of my apartment if I throw him out because I don't even have the lease with him. It's with Jimmy. So Jimmy has to work it out with Ed, and it has nothing to do with me. In some court cases in Connecticut, something similar has happened where a person has kicked out the person, gave them like a month to get their stuff. They never picked up the stuff. They threw all the stuff in the dumpster, and then the other person sued them, and then that person won. And then that person had to reimburse that person through the court. So again, I don't want to get like Gianni said. Whenever you get government agencies involved, it gets much more messy. So that's why I don't want to get government agencies involved unless I really have to.
Well, I mean, technically, you already do have government agency involved. You get food stamps, you get SSI.
How much could Ed sue you for throwing some toys away, Michelle? $100. I'll pay that fine for you if you just want to toss the shit out, Michelle.
His stuff his American Flyer stuff is at least over $2,000.
He'd mess with her.
And if you go by the book value, yeah, some of the stuff is over $2,000.
Just tell him it was in poor condition. That's why he couldn't sell it.
No, I'm sorry, but no, it's not in poor condition. Especially the one set is definitely not in poor condition. Okay, the point is that you get into a legal quagmire, and I'm not going to step in that pit. No way. It's just like with homeless
Well,
Mike.
not only that.
I waited for months to homeless Mike to pick up his stuff. He didn't
Right,
pick up
and
the stuff after 90 days, so that technically says, okay, well, it's abandoned, so into the dumpster it goes. You know,
Hey, what did he have, Michelle? Maybe like a bag of clothes?
homeless Mike
I mean,
had clothes he left behind.
Right.
Bags and bags of clothes. That was ironic because it was the stuff that Bubba Warbucks paid for.
that said that fucking homeless Mike has a better wardrobe than Ed does.
Right.
This is
And
I
better
threw
hygiene.
this stuff up before Ed was here. But
It's a
the
bit
thing
disturbing.
is I had the stuff here, and I tried to arrange to get homeless Mike to pick up the stuff, and he never came.
Is it
Fair
still
enough,
there?
Michelle. Fair enough.
Is the stuff still there, Michelle?
Is
I
Ed
think
still
she
here,
said that.
sleeping?
No. Is Mike's stuff still there?
No, it's not.
Oh. I was going to say, Ed should go through it and see if there's anything that fits him.
No, I think Mike was definitely smaller than Ed. Yeah, did you ever get Ed's
maybe it would
measurements yet, Michelle, so we can get him
maybe
some
it would
clothes?
require
Oh, fuck
effort.
that. He don't need
But you
clothes.
see,
He just needs to
the
get out.
point is, Gianni, as you know, and what you said is true, is whenever you get the government involved and some agencies involved, things get a lot more thick and scary. I don't know what the law is really trying to protect. In some cases, it doesn't seem like it's protecting the defendant. And it certainly doesn't seem like it's necessarily protecting the plaintiff either. Right, Ed buys model trains, not underwear or pants. Although he should buy some clothes, and he does know he wants to buy some clothes.
Loofah.
Yeah, he needs to stop buying trains and
even he said
start
so.
taking.
Yeah, take care of himself a bit, Get himself some clothes, maybe,
Right, he can sell, but unfortunately, because its liquidity is kind of hard, he can't sell it as fast because the pawn shop is gone. So what is he going to sell? Who's he going to sell it to?
Why would you take it to the pawn shop, Michelle?
There is no pawn shop. They closed.
Yeah, why would you even take it there to sell? It'd rip you off, Buy a train for $100, they'll give you like $10 for it.
Ed likes trains so much. Why doesn't he become, what do they call those? A vagabonds, a hobo, train hobo?
And just ride the rails.
Yeah.
He couldn't catch the train, though. He can barely walk around. How would he be able to catch a train?
I don't know.
I don't think it would physically be a good idea for Ed to become a hobo on a train. Not at his age. Yeah. I've seen videos what those hobos do and how they get on the trains and how to watch out for railroad police and all that. It's not something Ed can physically do. Ed can't do that.
He can barely get on a model train, let alone a regular.
He doesn't have that ability. Ed's rental agreement is a fantasy.
And maybe like a hustler, male prostitute.
Yes, it is written. It is written. Because we had to get a written form of it for the DSS for food stamps when I was processing Ed's case. So he does have a written agreement with the landlord.
I mean, what's the agreement, though? Is it like month by month? Is he there for 6 months? Is he there for a year?
It's month to month.
Oh.
Yeah, so technically Jimmy could send him on his merry way after within 30 days. Absolutely true.
Right. There you go.
But that's between Ed and Jimmy, not between me and Ed. So that's where Jimmy has to decide to execute his powers of eviction to throw him out, not me. I can't throw him out.
Well, why don't you tell Jimmy you don't want him there, Michelle? You just tell Jimmy flat out, you don't want him there.
Ed says he's going to talk to Jimmy and ask him for a better place. How much more can you do?
I mean yourself, though. Why don't you tell Jimmy that, you don't want Ed there anymore?
Yeah, I told her to be there when Ed talks to Jimmy.
Yes, we're going to be talking to them together.
That's a good idea.
Ed's going to be like, it's all her fault, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't think he sees it's all my fault, honestly.
I guess you got 5 more days, before we have an answer. So we're just going to have to sit and wait.
I'm really wondering about these people sending these little one-liner people. If we should just report them for spam.
One-liner people.
Yeah, I'm going to
I
report
have
this
been,
person for
Michelle.
spam, uncommercial spam. Boom. Problem solved. Okay, so that person has now been reported for commercial spam. Have you told Jimmy Ed threatened you? I haven't talked to Jimmy yet. No, come on. But we are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. And by the way, Jimmy knows Lumi too. Oh yeah, he knows me. One time I got in his face.
I'm surprised he doesn't charge him rent for Lumi as well, fucking scumbag.
You know what? The way he in the way it's not exactly impossible. He could say he is. He's charging $800, but he's charging everybody else in the building $800, $900. So,
yeah.
It is illegal. Okay, because when you start talking about legal, illegal, we need to know the section of law you're talking about. We're talking about contract law here. What does contract law? Which section of the contract law says it's legal or not legal? A landlord cannot have a separate rental agreement for a roommate in an existing tenant's apartment. Okay, can you show me the actual section where it says that in the law, please? And specify which law. Are you talking about the United States Code, or are you talking about Connecticut General Statutes, aka CGS?
I just asked Google, can there be 2 leases for the same apartment? No. A rental apartment can only have 1 lease in effect at a time. Leases cannot overlap or run concurrently.
Michelle, nor Ed have a lease.
On your lease, there cannot be 2 separate leases. It's illegal, Michelle.
Okay.
Yeah, Michelle, I mean, technically, you don't even have a lease with Jimmy. I mean,
right now, actually, I don't. No, it's right. It's Michelle's month to month.
Right. So he's basically.
So, in one sense, he can say is Michelle is an existing tenant, but she's month to month because she no longer has a written lease that states that she's renting this so many square feet of this apartment. He's sneaky. He's an Aries. He knows ways to get around it. I don't like that idea, but that's the way he works,
That's because he knows that you guys are in a hard situation.
We are also friends, too. So maybe that's why he did that, was he figured, well, I can basically give Ed a separate lease, Michelle a separate lease, because now we can say, well, Ed's got a couple square feet of this place as well.
I mean, Michelle, if he was your friend, he would have just charged you the original $800. I mean,
right, and he could get in trouble through the state, Michelle, because technically he lied to the state.
Well, he said the truth that Ed pays him $400 a month, and the fact
but
that
it's a separate lease. And in the state, those records have to be legal. So when that paperwork was turned over to the state, it wasn't a legal document. So therefore,
it wasn't a legal document in the sense that there was notary public on it. But
that's because Jimmy lied. You guys are supposed to be on the same lease. And then that paper should have been sent over. He's saying that basically that Ed is living kind of in a separate apartment. That's what the paperwork is saying, because you're not on that lease. But he's not. He's living in your apartment. That's what makes it illegal.
Yeah.
So if Jimmy gives you a hard time, I'll pull up the documents and, you can present them to him and say, look, you illegally did this.
Yeah.
And the state will get involved.
Yeah, the state will get involved, and then what happens to me? My situation. I mean, they'll say, well, Michelle's been there for 17 years. But she's not the one who's pushing
Jimmy
this.
has. You have done nothing illegal, Michelle. Him being the property owner, he needs to know these laws.
Which means
he's taking advantage of the elderly and the disabled.
I think you're
That's
right.
what
I
he's
think you're
feeling.
right about that. I don't disagree with that at all. No, I agree with him. I agree with Leo on this. I think one of the easiest things that Ed could do is just get a separate apartment with Jimmy and make it legal. Yeah, which is something he should do anyway. He said he wants to. Right. So I don't know. It's just like with the same thing with the injury case. Is the fact is that there's a fear factor. Like I said, in this that's a different case. But the fact was, with the way Patty was talking, me at the time was, if you sue him, he's gonna still want you out because there'll be conflict of interest. And I said, well, I got a cat in there that has to be fed. 2 cats at the time. I have my furniture there. I have my books. I have my computers. I have everything there.
But Michelle, he can't legally evict you because he doesn't like you.
No, if I was suing him for personal injury, and I was already behind in the rent,
he couldn't legally evict you for that. That's what that insurance is for. That's what property insurance is for.
Right.
That's what he pays for. In case it could be any Joe Schmo who slipped on his property and hurt themselves. They could sue him to, take care of their medical bills.
Right.
There's nothing he can do.
Well, here's one thing I've got a question about property insurance. Since there's an injury, does the property insurance pay him the $900 for 2 months, or in this case, $1,800? Do they pay him the $1,800 for the back rent owed?
Why would it be $900? You only pay $800, Michelle. Why would you have to pay $900?
Because originally Michelle was paying him $700 a month, and Michelle fell behind in the rent for 3 months.
Right.
He was already starting evictions against Michelle because of that reason. It was going to start evictions against Michelle. So if she won the lawsuit, wouldn't that mean that she would still be obligated under the housing court to pay him the back rent? Well, $2,100.
I think you would have to pay your rent still, but
Michelle couldn't because she was paying Patty $975 at the time.
What was your money going to Patty at that time? Is that why you couldn't pay your rent?
That's exactly why.
Okay. I see.
It's not something I normally would agree to show, but screw it. Yeah, so you see now that's the way things are. So everything's such a tangled skein, tangled skein. Everything is twisted. It's like a Gordian knot. You know what the guy did to solve the Gordian knot problem, Michelle? Remember? He took a sword and sliced it in half. That's kind of what you would have to do. Just take the equivalent of your metaphorical legal sword and slice the knot in half.
Well, Michelle, we understand your fear. I mean, and everybody would be fearful, especially since you didn't have family to fall back on. But the law is on your side. And that's why a lot of your friends like FC, I think Out on the Wire and all that, they were trying to push for you to do these things because they know the law is on your side.
That's a good question, guys. I don't know what the squatter laws in Connecticut are. I really don't know because they've changed them so many times that because of the homeless situations, I don't know what they would have said.
Well, I'm sure any judge would have looked at that and said, she got hurt on your property. She's laid up now. Why are you evicting her? You can't evict her because of this. I mean, any judge probably would have looked at that and said, nah.
The judge would have said, and this is before the eviction moratorium, the judge would have said, look, Mr. Elizowski, you have to work with her because, number one, she's been your tenant for 17 years. And more than likely, she will be coming back. She has to get her stuff, but she has to get movers because she couldn't physically do it at the time. I physically could barely climb up those 3 flights of stairs. I got up there. But for a few months, I didn't really go downstairs much. No, except the Cumberland Farms, and even that was a struggle. Yeah. So that's a great question. I think also what makes it harder too is the fact that Michelle doesn't even have a car. If Michelle had a driver's license, I think Michelle would have been more willing to be more proactive. But there's always the fear factor. Oh, we're going to abandon you. People said before, we'll help you out in various situations, and then they abandon Michelle and leave her high and dry in the middle of nowhere with no way to get home. And so Michelle was like, I'm not really comfortable doing that. I don't want to keep feeling like I have to depend on somebody else and say, I'll pick you up whenever, and then they never show up. That's what Michelle's afraid of is going to happen again. Where people might say, well, we'll move your stuff, and then they never come. Exactly. And that's going through the same thing, because he doesn't have a car either. So he's also afraid he's going to lose everything. So, I see it from, of course, like you said, we're both older or both infirm. It's just not, I don't know if any counselor would be able to say to anyone and say, negotiating these things and say, look, you're both disabled. Let us go ahead. The state will pay for your movers, get your stuff moved to a safe place. And I don't know how that would have worked either. I don't know what Connecticut law would do or what it won't do to help people that are disabled, physically disabled, get out of a situation like that.
Michelle, and I will talk to you afterwards what I found out.
Okay. I'll give you a call before the 7 o'clock show. I'll try to call you maybe around 5 on Discord.
That's fine.
And so keep your ears on. We'll see what we can do. Keep your ears on. Keep your ears on, good buddy. Breaker 19, Blazing Leo, you got a grip? Breaking 19, Break 19, Blazing Leo, got a grip? This is the old Loomy Finistra calling you. Over. He would be bad at the radio. Yeah. I'm just catching up on this nightmare of a conversation. It is peeing me off royally. Michelle, you don't even have legal protections for your own well-being with Jimmy. I told you a year ago. Yeah. Many of us have suffered trauma and abuse in our childhood. We also don't go on to abuse others. I'm just trying to be safe. Yeah.
That's
Lady
right,
Sweeney came back after your injury. You have zero rights. He can kick you out at any time. That's our FC. That's why we try to keep our nose clean. But there is a valid concern, which is nothing to do with Michelle whatsoever. Jimmy's getting older, too. We don't know what would happen if for some reason he kicks the bucket. Yeah, we think about that. Would his wife, which owns the property, actually be able to keep up with everybody? She's also
I'm assuming she'd sell. Michelle.
I'm so sure she'd sell too. But would the new landlord be willing to keep the existing tenants? I don't know. It depends on the property. Like, for example, in Willimantic, they were all drug dealers and drug users, so probably not. They just wanted to sell it empty. In this case, depending on who buys the property, they might say, "Okay, fine, we'll let the tenants stay," especially when it's been there for 17 plus years, since she's always paid the rent on time. And the other elderly man across the two elderly couple, in 7, and the elderly guy in 10, and then then of course the people in 3 and 4, they're paying full rent there too, $1,050. But those are huge apartments. Yeah, they're like 3 bedrooms, and they're also
they're paying $1,050, Michelle, and you and Ed are paying $1,200 for a 1-bedroom apartment. Think about that.
If you think about it that way, but that's not the way the agreement is written. That's the problem.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying you're getting ripped off. Jimmy's ripping you guys off is the point, Michelle.
Right. Well, I wonder what Jimmy originally was planning with something like this. I think wondering is if I have Michelle and Ed pay separate agreements, Ed basically is putting money with me away for eventually to pay, have money put aside for security deposit. Michelle, if that was the case, you would say March. Let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, November, December. He's paid 11 months at $400. That's $4,400. That's more than a security deposit, first month, last month's rent. So theoretically, at that point, means that he could say to Jimmy, "Hey, I paid you enough money now that I paid basically for security deposit, first month's, last month's for an apartment."
Do you pay Jimmy in cash?
It pays him in cash.
No trace. Yeah, no trace of.
I paid
Doesn't
by
get
check.
a receipt from
I
Jimmy?
paid my rent by check.
Okay, but Ed pays by cash and doesn't get a receipt.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a checking account.
Yeah, but even a money order. I mean, even if you wrote a check, he gave you the money and wrote a check. You know, Ed's kind of screwing himself as well. You know, he's very childlike, Michelle. Very childlike.
Yeah. So the only way he knows that we have witness that I pay him because I'm actually the one who puts the envelope along on my rent check and I hand it out to him, so I know the rent's paid to Jimmy. Okay. Yeah, I told Ed this. I said, "Really, you should be paying him my money order."
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. That's between Jimmy and Ed. Yeah, I think Ed's screwing Jimmy, or Jimmy's screwing Ed too. And Ed, if he really was proactive, he should have been going, "Hey, wait a minute, I want a rent receipt." He never asks for a rent receipt. And it's like, if it wasn't me verifying that Jimmy was paid, there would be no way to verify that Jimmy got paid at all. But because I actually see the money crossing hands, I can verify, yes, Ed paid him. Because I was the one who goes to the ATM to get Ed the money, to pay Jimmy, from his debit card. If there's a drive there myself, things will get going. If I have to drive, the things will get going. Say this: if Ed puts his friends' hands on you, I will go there. I'm not far. He will not want to deal with my husband. Right. I understand that, guys.
A lot of people that care about you, Michelle.
But you know what? I know everybody does. So here's what I'm going to ask, and I'm sure Ed's going to need something similar, but I'm asking for me first. If I was to move even to a bigger apartment, I'm going to still need movers. I'm still going to need a person with a truck. I'm still going to need a person to help with the security deposit. There's no money right now extra for security deposit. I paid security deposit when I moved in 2007, but I don't have any idea if Jimmy still remembers that I paid him a security deposit and 7 months rent when he first moved in.
I don't know, and Jimmy, Michelle, I'm sure it slipped his memory.
And technically, Michelle, I mean, if I remember the law correctly, if you've missed a month or something of paying Jimmy just so that you had your security deposit, there's nothing really Jimmy can do for at least 30 to 60 days.
Right. So, because the fact is, Michelle ended up basically living off the security deposit with Jimmy for 1 month. And then when Michelle will talk to his lawyer, she negotiated to pay the $2,100 back in 9 months, plus the regular $700 rent. So she kept
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you want to move, you don't have technically a lease. And so if you skipped a month of paying Jimmy just because you wanted a security deposit to move to a better place, there's nothing Jimmy really can do to you. I mean, he could probably take you to court to get the money, but I mean, you could pay that off in payments or whatever. I mean, there's ways around this, Michelle.
There are ways around it, but there's also one valid question that me and Ed both agreed on. Don't say anything to Jimmy if you want to relocate, because you want to make sure you get the place first, because the minute you hear he says that you want to leave, he's the kind of guy who's going to go, okay, gotta find that, and he'll be out next month. I'll be like, I mean, 3 months rent is a security deposit for a new place. First month, last month, and 1 month security is a lot. Rents have shot through the roof. So right now, that means if I wanted to get another $800 a month apartment, I have to pay $2,400 to a landlord to move into the new place. I don't have $2,400. Never mind, some actually want applications and applications fees. I don't even know how in the hell I would then be able to pay for a moving truck, transfer of utilities.
Start saving, Michelle.
That's one of the other reasons that we said if we're going to move, it would have to be, for me, because I have so much stuff, it would have to be in the spring or summer. Because moving in the winter is not feasible. Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't do it in the wintertime.
Michelle, if you're not moving the stuff, what do you care when you move? I mean, if you got other people doing it for you, if they're able to do it in the winter, why would it matter?
Well, it wouldn't matter, except the fact is that you're still going to be dependent on the weather, and making sure that the weather is going to be good enough for them to physically get the stuff into the truck.
But that's what
you do for a living, Michelle. That's your job. You're the North American Snoopy, so you can basically make sure it doesn't snow that day. That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're hiring a moving company, Michelle, they move people in all sorts of weather. I mean, it doesn't matter the weather. They'll get the job done. You know, That's what they're paid for.
But even a moving company, though, is not cheap, though. They're still going to pay them. And I know that that's going to be money that's going to also have to go towards the move, too. Right now, Michelle doesn't even have the money to do that.
That's why you start saving, Michelle.
She is trying to save, guys. That's what she's working on. So I'm working on.
Keep at it. I mean, you're talking about buying, video card. You're talking about putting money on your Capital One.
If Michelle forgone the video card this month,
and you've got several people that
she would only have about $300 extra, $400. That doesn't even put a dent in the moving truck rental.
You've got people, I see FC, Stan has said it. If it's feasible for me, I would come help you. You've got people that will do this on a voluntary, no money asked.
Right.
The only thing that we probably have to get is maybe a moving truck, which, they're not that expensive, a couple $100.
U-Haul's not too much.
Yeah, no, it isn't. No, U-Haul's not that expensive. You're right. It is a couple $100. The thing is,
I mean, there's people there that, Michelle, this is what I'm trying to say to you. There is help there. You just keep rejecting the help.
Okay, well, what about who's going to help me? Who's going to help Michelle with the first month and the last month and the 1 month security to move? That's still a valid problem.
That's why I said we need to talk after this, and there's programs, there's help out there, Michelle. And if we get a number, then we have more of an idea of what you will need. You're saying you're going to need $3,000, $4,000. Not necessarily. It depends on where you move.
Right, I know that. I don't know where he didn't screw me on a Section 8. In a way, let me explain this. How did he screw me on a Section 8? He got angry at the inspector and started yelling at the inspector. That's how he screwed me on a Section 8. And himself. That's why he cannot accept Section 8 here anymore. Okay? Because he got mad at the inspector and he didn't even know how to appeal yelling at the inspector. I really do think Jimmy should have done something with that and contact the people that inspected under contract with the Section 8 to J.D. Amelia and Associates, but he never called them back to find out how to reach the people at the inspections to clear that up and appeal it. He never did that. I don't know why Jimmy didn't bother, but he didn't. So I wouldn't say he screwed me. I would say he screwed himself too. Yeah, I know there's some programs out there that help with moving costs. I'll donate as long as I know it's for a new place. Trust me, guys, your money is being saved for this. It's not necessarily going to go out there and buy a big, giant, flat screen TV if that's what you think. No, I'm actually putting money aside for this. I mean, yeah, I do got to get the video card, but that's not like the final product. That's just because I want to keep playing World of Warcraft. Because I don't know when it's going to stop working on my version of the Mac operating system. But, you know, that's something that's less of a priority. It always kind of was less of a priority. It'd be nice to get the card. But, you know, like I said, it's not quite the same league of importance. It's not like Edwin is trained. I'm like, okay, yeah, the video game stops working for a month or two. You know, yeah, I'm still paying a monthly $15 a month to Blizzard. So as long as I'm still playing Blizzard, and if
you can cancel that anytime, though. You don't have to pay that. You can cancel it and then continue paying it. You don't have to pay the $15 a month while you're not able to play the game. You do realize that, right? You can cancel it and then just renew it anytime you want. You don't have to pay that $15.
But then Michelle can't play the game when she gets a new video card until she pays it again.
Well, that's why you wait till you get the new video card, Michelle, and then put the $15 back on to your account. You can renew it anytime. You don't. It's if you cancel it, that doesn't mean it's done forever. Right. That means you just stop paying on it.
And Michelle, just
you can pay for it later. You don't have to continue to pay $15.
Just like we agreed with Ed, priorities. Your priority is not the game right now. Your priority is your safety.
Wait, I know that. Michelle said that. That's why that's one of the reasons why she'd like to let us table this for now until she is better prepared to deal with it. Because right now she can't. She's getting a headache just thinking about everything that's going on.
It's a lot. It is a lot. But people want you to know that they are here for you. And this is something, Michelle,
and another thing
whether
too
you want to hear it or
needs
not,
to be kept in mind.
Michelle, listen to me. Listen to me. This is something, whether you want to hear it or not, that you have to do now rather than later. If you hurt yourself again, there's nothing we can do to step in and help you immediately. What's going to happen to Rusty? What's going to happen to your stuff? This stuff needs to be addressed and taken care of today, that you can do it now. Because tomorrow, who knows? You could fall and hurt yourself again, and then there's nothing nobody can do, and you lose everything.
Yeah, but then again, like Michelle also said...
No, Michelle, not then again.
Hold on a second.
I've seen this happen to so many people. I worked with the elderly. They thought they were fine. The next day, they broke their hip. They went to a nursing home for 6 months. They lost their house. They lost their animals were taken. Everything they owned, they lost, Michelle.
Right, that's what Michelle was afraid of originally. Because of evictions. You know, she was afraid she was going to lose everything.
Right, but we, as a community, your friends, Michelle, we are all willing to step up and help you. We know we're not children. We've been through this. We've seen people. We've lived this. We know what needs to be done, and we are here to tell you it's time that you need to make a change. Because tomorrow, you may not have everything. You may lose it.
Well, let's also keep in mind, this is why we need case management. Because Michelle is physically disabled. She cannot drive. She doesn't have a car. She doesn't have transportation. So she needs someone to help her to make it happen. Such as looking for apartments, for example.
Exactly. And I'm here for you. Stan's here for you. FC's here for you. Out on the Wire's here for you. Skynet's here for you. Metal Kitty's here. You've got so many people that are willing to help you, Michelle.
Let's see what Krista called for. I don't know what Krista called. No, she meant to text you. She called you instead.
And I think that's the problem out on the wire. It's the follow through. I think it makes her nervous, and I think, because a lot of that stuff, if you don't have the gusto and somebody pushing you sometimes, and that's why I think she physically needs somebody there for support. I know Stan will go, once in a while, and FC said he'll go there, and even Skynet said he's gone there, but she needs somebody there on the daily that she can call that will be there for her, like in minutes if she needs something.
All right, well, let me see what
and that's
Krista,
what I'm working on.
Let me just tell you what Krista just said here. She said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that if you ever do save up the money, you can plan on moving. I know for a fact that my husband would help you move all we would get as you would want to give us the money to rent you home. We would find him and another guy to move. You so don't worry about moving because you're my friend, and because you are my friend, I know my husband would help you out and find somebody else to help him move. So don't worry about it. Okay, Michelle, I can't go on the panel, but please let me text you. Okay, well, I got your message, Krista. Right now, like I said, there's a lot of different things, and anxiety definitely is something that scares the hell out of me.
But Michelle, we are here for you. We know it's scary. It was scary for me to leave a relationship of 20 years, but I did it. I survived. I'm thriving. You can do this, Michelle. You can do this, and everybody is behind you.
Yeah, well, the thing is like Red said, Michelle really does need a case manager. And like I said, I don't have one. And so I don't know who you call to get one.
Excuse me, I'm working.
DSS won't give me one. Bureau of Rehabilitation Services for the Blind won't give me one. I'm no longer involved with the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, so I can't get one from there. So how do you get a case manager in this case? Do I look in the phone book for case managers in the yellow pages? Then you have to pay somebody.
You've got Google, Michelle. I mean, that'd be a good start. I know Leo said she was helping you out with it, but I mean, you have Google at your fingertips, Michelle.
I don't know why I said this is from FC. He says, remember, she said case managers cost money. Meanwhile, she had one the entire time, not being on food, just being on food stamps and Medicaid means she automatically gets case manager. No, it doesn't. Not in Connecticut. No, I don't have a case manager in Connecticut at all. None. Zip. I already know because I did my best to find out if I had one, and I don't. I used to have a case manager through the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. But when I was discharged from the program, because they said I no longer needed the support system, I don't have the case manager anymore. Right, I know their programs. The Bureau of Rehabilitation Services for the Blind, which is on the BESB in Connecticut, doesn't even give me a case manager. I don't have one there either. Michelle, some of the people fell through the cracks.
You will. We will work on this. We will work on this together.
And just like Ed's situation is similar, he fell through the cracks too. But then again, part of it is because he didn't actually even want to push to find out why he doesn't get case management.
But you get food stamps, right, Michelle? Or does Ed just get food stamps?
Yes, I do, but I don't have a case manager with DSS. I'm just a case number. I don't have a person I can call if I have problems.
Well, okay, we'll look into this. You should get a piece of paper every year because you have to renew that, and they issue
they no
you a
longer
case
giving out case managers anymore. I do got the paper, but it doesn't have a case manager name and phone number.
Okay, well, maybe you can screenshot that and send it to me.
Yeah, I've got the letter. It's up here. Ow. I can screenshot. It's on paper, so I have to scan it. So I want to take a photograph with the phone.
Well, you don't have to do it right this second. We can do it
The
later.
information where the case manager would be used to be on the top, and then when the last governor changed things, he got rid of the case management people for food stamps. You no longer have an individual caseworker.
Ice stuck in my shirt.
Well, they never told me who it is. So who is my case manager? It doesn't even say anywhere in the paperwork who my case manager is.
Well, they shuffle, like in Michigan. They'll shuffle us around because people, get shuffled around in those types of
Yeah, I was a couple times before when I was living in Willimantic. That's when they used to have case managers. Mine used to be Ben Shires, and then it was another person, and then after it was another person, and after it was another person, and I was like,
right.
But then on the new system, which is under the last governor, not Lamont, but the predecessor. They got rid of the case managers. Now everybody just goes into a central repository of just like when you go for your credit card or you pay your gas bill. They don't have a case manager with gas company either. So like, it's the same thing. You just call the customer support number, Michelle. And then they just go ahead and just give you to the next available agent.
Right. You're in the system though, regardless if you have a designated case manager or not. They're, since you have a case number, you're in their system.
Yeah, I know.
You still have some sort of person you should be able to talk to there.
Well, I don't have a designated person though, so
no, you probably don't. Yeah, I agree with you 100% because they shuffle me around a lot too. But there are. I mean, if you called them up and said, "Hey, I need to talk to somebody," they'd assign somebody to you.
That's one of the reasons I feel more and more the system has abandoned me more than anything, and that's what I really feel.
Michelle, that stuff requires legwork. I mean, they make it hard for people to get what they need, but the help is there.
Oh, that's why Michelle feels like the system has abandoned her.
Yeah, because the system sucks. It does. But with the right people getting involved.
That's the key word. With the right people. But who are they? They're certainly not the people I get my DSS letters from. You see what I'm saying? Who are they? Who do you call? Which door do you knock on? There's nobody. I've ran into this with DSS since 1996. There's no door to knock on, and there's no one to actually call. Oh, actually, at the time, in Willimantic, there was. It was Ben Shires. And, of course, I was just a number on his caseload. He's like, I can't help you with some of this stuff, Michelle, because, unfortunately, I have a crushing number of cases. I can't help you specifically individually. So, when this case was about a guaranteed security deposit program, he said, unfortunately, he said, I don't know who you should call because, unfortunately, the program is full because they already got all the money that's been allocated out at the time. That was for a guaranteed security deposit. So, and if you ask the people today, they'll tell you straight up, Michelle has basically been abandoned by the system.
Well, we're going to unabandon
And then she's trying to help another person who's been abandoned by the system, in part because of their own actions. But in the case of Michelle's, what did she do to become abandoned in the system? Nothing. No, Michelle didn't do anything wrong. But yet Michelle feels lost, befuddled, confused, disillusioned, abandoned. And that's sad because I can't do everything either.
No, you can't. But Michelle, that's what I'm going to talk to you later on today about how we're going to get things going and in motion.
Because if you could help Ed and me, and I mean, he both need help. I mean, I know that we're fighting. I mean,
we're gonna focus. We're gonna focus on you, and if I can direct Ed in the direction, but he's gonna have to do the legwork. There's nothing wrong with his sight. There's nothing wrong with his hearing. You need somebody to kind of relay the information to you. He does not.
Well, he needs help too, but I mean, he should actually get on his own YouTube channel and talk about his situation. And that's another reason why this channel is so valuable, because this is how people actually find out what's going on. Because a lot of people don't know what it's like to be in a situation like mine. And I told Ed, I said, this is why this channel is also important. Because when you got people, they can hear the story of what's going on, and they understand you're trying, but you're disabled. You're basically being shuffled around like a piece of, like a 3x5 index card. You're not, you're lost, you're disillusioned, you're confused, they're not telling you everything you need to know. And then people get lost in between the cracks. A lot of situations when people are like this, there's a lot of them in this situation, especially the disabled, which have no idea what's going on. Some of them, depending on their mental faculties, may really have no idea what's going on because of their mental faculties. In my case, I know what's going. I know that I have a clear mind. But what's happening is I still can't say, "Oh, I got to call Joey at this number and we're gonna discuss this." I can't. I don't know who Joey is. I don't know how to call him. I don't know what to tell him. I don't know what case. I don't know what options are available to me because no one told me. And they just say, fill this form out online, and then basically someone will get back to you. Wait a minute, but that doesn't tell me anything. Who's going to read the form? Who's going to process the form? I'm one of 1,500 forms that may have been received that day. Because there's so much backlog and casework that there's clearly a break in communication somewhere.
Right. See, we'll get it going, Michelle.
Well, we have to do something because Michelle really does want to relocate. I really do want to relocate.
I
wanted to get an apartment with gas heat, gas hot water, gas cooking, and I do want one that's on the ground floor. A home place for me would be a good apartment, but at the time I could not afford that. Would have been the same price I would have been paying here of $900 a month. Plus, have to pay for my own gas, for cooking, heat, and hot water, along with electric. Okay. But then I would still been paying Jimmy the back rent. So I think he said, what was it? I think I got it right. A little bit incorrect, Michelle. Let's start make sure I get it right. Under the agreement with Jimmy, you were paying $200 a month, right? Yeah. So that means whatever the rent was. At the time, it was $800. It was going to give it to you. So that means that you would have had to pay him $1,000 each month. And that was in the summer when your heating bill wouldn't be a problem because you wouldn't be heating in the apartment in the summer. Right. So Michelle very honestly told Jimmy there's a couple problems with this apartment. Number one, I can't afford $1,000. That's too much. Right. Number two is the bathroom is not got a tub that I can easily get in and out of because the old cast iron tub that was in there would have been beautiful, but he had taken it out and replaced it with a fiberglass tub. And Michelle, it was too low for Michelle to get out of. Michelle has to push herself off the walls of the tub to get up out of the bathtub.
Yeah, and I think legally he's supposed to have everything handicap accessible.
Well, it can easily be put. Rails can be put there. Rails can. The new tub, the rails could be installed if there is no rails. So
he's a shyster, that Jimmy.
There's just a lot of the reason why he said, Michelle, if you move in here, I can actually get I can get a couple guys to go up there, bring your stuff down the stairs, carry it across the road, bring it into your apartment. And Michelle was really willing to do it. But the problem is that she just didn't think she could afford $1,000 a month for 9 months. And then after that, the rent would have been $800 a month, which is what she's paying now. And he didn't want Michelle to have a roommate there. And right now, the apartment's rented anyway. Yeah, it's rented right now, so that's not even an option at this point.
Right. Okay. Well, we can address this later.
Yeah. We can address this later. But anyway, so one of the things, guys, that's important to people that I told this to Ed the same thing. I said, Ed, you got a voice, you got a mouthpiece called YouTube. You can even address these topics on YouTube. Red Foreman wants to come on the panel. Good morning. I'll only help financially if I know it's sure to get Michelle in the right programs and housing. Oh, that's nothing because Michelle's handicapped. She probably could get an apartment sooner. Probably. I mean, there is a waiting list for apartments in the new disabled housing in Winston on Gay
There are
Street.
laws, Michelle, that protect. There's the it's called the the disability protection law, or there's some type of law out there that protects people who have a disability.
Okay.
So, I mean, you've got several.
Yeah. All right. It's like MLK said, I have a friend that lives in an apartment with 24-hour staff. Yeah, I know places like that, and there's just two of them. There's a one in Torrington, that's that way, and then there's one, I think, I don't know if it's quite that level, but it's close. It's new elderly disabled housing complex that opened up in Winsted about 2018. But the list is full. It's a separate application. It's not under Section 8. Okay. And at the time, it would have been good because if I got in there, because the fact is that number one, they even paid for the air conditioning. Nice. But I didn't have the money, and there was a waiting list, so I would have still had to be in another apartment for, while my name was being bubbled up on the waiting list. See, that's the other thing too. People forget is that there are waiting lists. Yeah. So where do you go?
But because of your situation, Michelle.
So where would you go while you're on that waiting list? You're not going to want to tell your current landlord you're moving, because before you actually get your acceptance letter, so that means that you have to stay where you are now while your name is bubbling up on the list, so you become available for you.
Michelle, you need to stop worrying about the what if this or that, the negative stuff.
That's what Virgos do. That's an anxiety issue.
Yeah.
You always get too anxious.
You need to stop worrying about that. Because as of right now, I don't think you have anything to worry about. For one, I think Jimmy's going to be in a lot of trouble legally if if it gets pushed.
Yeah. But again,
who's to say that he's not what he's doing to all the other tenants there?
I don't know what he's doing to the other tenants. I have no idea what he's doing.
I mean,
with them.
he's running illegal operation. It sounds like.
Sounds like he's trying to get this place back into a rooming house, which it originally was a residential hotel. So he would have to
start thinking more positively. You're going to get another place. You're going to get the help you need. You're going to be safer. You're going to get all this stuff because it's out there for you.
And no one wants to run anything illegal on Ed right now. Ed is not that problem, but Ed indeed is facing the same problem I'm facing. And both of us are very vulnerable right now. So we're always trying to keep our noses clean because we don't want to basically, make bad decisions. Like I said, when you're handicapped and you don't have a car, for example, you don't have the mobility, it does make it a lot harder. You can't just go out there and say, I'm out of here, Mr. Landlord. There's my 30 days notice. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the ass. Goodbye, I'm gone. No, if you do that and you don't have a transportation, and you're like, I almost did this. I actually did do this. I gave 30 days notice to one landlord, and he kind of said, well, okay, fine. All right. But then what happened was that I couldn't find the apartment, and I was like, I have to change my situation because I'm not going to be able to move because the situation fell through. He said, well, I'm sorry, I already rented your apartment out. Sorry, you have to get out. I was like, that's the reason we don't want to make that mistake again, which is a valid reason. Doesn't Jimmy fool around with female tenants for it? No, he does not. That's one of the reasons why I wish I could at least seriously, Ed keeps thinking he might want to go to Georgia or Florida with me. And I said, well, yeah, except it's too hot in Florida and Georgia isn't necessarily any cooler. But
Michelle,
he said,
you're-
but let's just talk about Ed's side of the situation for a bit. Just because, we talked about this too between me and him. He's got the same fear. He's like, well, I know everything in Florida. I know everything in Tampa. I don't know nothing about Georgia. He's like, if we go into Georgia, I would have to start all over again. So would I. I told him, I said, I don't know anything in Georgia. But if the apartments and the houses are cheaper there, then that might be a reason to go. But I don't know anything about Georgia, and I certainly don't know anything about Florida. But
well, Michelle, you're having an issue just thinking about moving in the same
just
town.
down the road. I know. Exactly. And that's in the town I do know.
Is not feasible at the time. And Ed's situation, we'll deal with Ed. But the most important thing is to remember, you and Ed cannot live together. It can't happen.
I think it would be I'll tell you what. So I'm going to talk to Leo about this in private, not have everybody on the panel talking to me at once because that overwhelms me. I'd rather have one person talk to me that can act and listen to everybody else's thoughts because I really, especially if I start getting anxious, I can really lose everything everybody says in one ear, out the other. And it's not because I'm rude or obnoxious. It's just because my brain shuts down when it gets too much information coming at once.
You get overwhelmed. I understand that.
Yeah, well, the free lawyer also had to deal with Patty DeMar, and Patty didn't want the free lawyer to even visit. That's another situation which was even more abusive than anything I've ever been in my life. Where Patty said,
"Patty's not in the picture anymore, so we don't have to worry about that."
But like I said, that was what screwed us up. FC, remember when Patty got on the phone with you? She tried to rip you a new one. And what happened was she just got downright angry and started yelling at everybody, saying, "We gotta take care of ourselves." You know what? I think she did a terrible job taking care of it herself. It was me who finally contacted Jimmy myself, and they said, look, let's work this out. We owe you back rent. I still need an apartment, and I still need a place to live. I said, I don't know if I'm moving in the future or not. I said, more than likely probably will, but for now, I need a place to stay. This is my home. And he said, fine. So he and I went to his lawyer. His lawyer agreed. And he canceled the evictions, and that was it. Boom, problem solved. Because we agreed out of the court to pay him the back rent plus the current rent for 9 months. $785 for $200 plus. Okay, so that's why it came out to be 9 months at $900 a month. So $700 a month for the regular rent plus the $200 each month for the back rent that's in arrears. Right. Heart attack. DBS says, wow, you set it up for Michelle and she didn't take it. Michelle, I hope you see that there is no Ed and you. Yeah, I know. Well, again, Patty was intimidating me not to apply. Because she thought she had the answers. Patty was a train wreck. Oh, no doubt. She was just a train wreck, Michelle. Forget it. It would never work with Patty. And what Patty was trying to do was almost put you in a box. She wanted you in a box 6 feet down. I know. She hated me. She hated Lumi with a passion. At first, she liked Lumi, but then in the end, she hated Patty. Patty hated Lumi. He's like, shut your pie hole, Lumi. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Get out of Michelle's life. I never want to see you again. And that caused a lot of depression for Michelle. Michelle wasn't even sleeping at night anymore at the time when she was at Patty's house. Because me and Michelle would be talking quietly, sotto voce, every night for 8 hours a night while Patty slept. It was the only time we could talk. And we both agreed with Mother God at the time. You got to get out of there because this is really dangerous to both of you, your health, your well-being. And so Mother God said, when I give you a signal, you bolt. And she gave us the message on February 10th, 11th. GTFO, it's now. And that's exactly what we did. And Mother explained to me what we had to do, and we did it. And once the police got involved, once the police talked to Jimmy, we got Jimmy and Millie to cancel the evictions, and that's why we're still here. That's why we're still here. She was already stealing my checks and already stealing Michelle's soul. She's a soul eater. Leo did a reading on Patty, which said that she said that Patty did care about me, but with her mental illness, she was going about it the wrong way. We didn't go too much detail about Patty's reading, but she's mental illness really was messing her up and messing me up.
Yeah. That's just the same. I think Ed cares about you, but he's so messed up in the head right now, Michelle.
I agree.
There's nothing you can do to help him.
You're right.
He's got to help himself.
He's facing his own demons in the closet. There's absolutely no doubt about that. He's absolutely facing his own demons in the closet.
Right. And there's nothing, I want you to hear this. There's nothing you can do to help him. He needs medical help. You can't do anything for him. Because all it's going to do is if you try.
Help. He also needs housing help too.
Well, he does, case. But that will come with when he needs to stop drinking. He needs mental health evaluation.
Right. And I told him, I said, look, Ed, I said, you behavioral health centers right down the street. You're eligible for it. Just call them. Talk to them, do an intake. Make an appointment. You are eligible for it. Medicaid will pay for it. Because you're within the Medicaid program. I'm not. I said, because the only thing I can do is get a scholarship for every 6 months. Patty should have been arrested. Yeah, she managed to cash the check twice, and she was forced to give back the money twice. I'm surprised why the bank didn't press charges. Maybe because she paid the money back twice. But that's no longer the problem. But that certainly still haunts me, at least in part.
Right. But like I told Ed, Stop dwelling on the past. Patty is gone. There's nothing you can do about what happened in the past.
Right.
You're moving on from that. She's no longer in your life, thank God. And it's kind of the same situation
what we got
with
here
Ed,
is
though,
the
too,
failure to
Michelle.
communicate. Some men you just can't reach, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. Typically, he has been in mental health sanitarium a few times because of
he needs to go back.
He's been there. But no, we're not talking about it specifically, but he has been there. Okay. In Florida, because of nervous breakdowns. So why doesn't Ed have a case manager? He didn't even have one back then. But that's Ed's problem, not mine.
It's because of his lifestyle, Michelle. He's kind of like, he's a bum. I mean, he has no stability in his life. You can't have a case manager when you're, living with 5 other men, drinking your money away. He doesn't have, that's why he does need help. I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
Right. He didn't even
Like
do any,
said,
he didn't
it's a
even
help
do
that
any,
you can't do
any
anything
follow
about.
through in anything to get case management. You're right. That's his decision. He chose not to.
And he's got some other issues there that are deep rooted that he needs to come to terms with.
That's what the case
and
management
I don't think he has
comes
enough
in.
time in his life to do that.
Okay, I don't know. The thing is no, he was. I don't know enough about Ed's personal detail in that area to really go into it. But just to say is that he's struggling with some big demons in his closet. Okay, like Leo said, past trauma that has never been dealt with, and so. But right now, everybody wants to talk about my case, which is also deep trauma, and so what. The thing is, I've overcome a lot of it, but the transportation thing scares the living bejesus out of me because I have been abandoned a few times in the street. When the ride didn't come to pick me up to take me home. And I ended up having to walk all the way home. Over a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles because they were mad and they didn't want to take me home.
Right. So, well, because of the research I've done, Michelle, there's a service out there that, there's people that will come pick you up for doctor's appointments, for shopping.
There is. Yeah, that they have
all that stuff. And it's free. It's free.
Yeah, but they do it in town, too, for me. Because if I go change my doctor to 80 South Main Street, the senior center does that. They'll take you to in-town appointments and pick you up from in-town appointments. I use them a lot. It's not, there is donation-based, but it is available. And if we're out of town, there is also the Northwest Rural Transit District's Dial-A-Ride for out of town. Right. Well, like I said, guys, the truth is this is where I think, but I mean, like this is why this channel also is important, is also for education. People come here and they actually might be saying to themselves in their own situations, gee, I've gone through this, I'm going through this. It's where do I go? And then they see what's going on here and they say, gee, I have the same problem. So now at least what we say might even give some of them the ability to do the same on their own level and say, hey, I need to find out, for example, who is my food stamps caseworker. I need to find out who is responsible or who can I call to get case management support. And we don't have any of these answers for those questions, but maybe they don't either. Maybe they also have me suffering from anxiety and autistic spectrum disorder / Asperger's, and they're like, oh, I'm not sure what to do. I'm lost. I'm confused. Yeah, I get it. It's like, join the club. At least can be like a support network. That's kind of what this channel was intended for. Leo. Is I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I know, Michelle. And everybody knows that everybody knows what you use this channel for. And that's why you have a lot of people that care about you that come to this channel. Because they want to support you. They want to see that you're safe. The problem is, Michelle, you keep pushing everybody away.
Because Michelle's afraid of getting hurt.
I understand.
I mean, it's almost like Michelle is like she doesn't trust anybody anymore because she's afraid she's going to get hurt. Unless it's in writing, signed in blood, and sworn by an affidavit or something like that. But they don't do that unless you want to pay money. So, I mean, it's almost like Michelle wants an ironclad guarantee that that person or agency is going to help her and not basically just throw her in a file somewhere and go, have a nice day. Don't let the door hit you on the way out now. You hear? I thought you were going to help me. I put you in my file. You're there. You don't have to worry about it. See you later. Bye-bye. Wait. I need help getting this done. I'm sorry. I'm a bit busy right now. Can't help you, so you're going to have to go elsewhere. But I called you. I talked to you to get help here. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you I was busy with a full caseload of numbers and cases. I can't even handle half of them. You son of a... Hey, don't yell at me, lady. I'm just trying to do my job. What is your job? I've run into that a few times. It's not a joke. It's really has happened. I was like... J.C. Penney's is the classic movie villain. Oh, Jimmy. I thought you said. I misread that. He said FC or J.C. Penney. Oh, no. J.C. Penney's not the villain. In fact, J.C. Penney ended up becoming the victim. Oh, yeah. You can get real support here, Michelle. You have friends that care. Is Winston really as scary as it sounds? Winston is a very small town. It doesn't have any real social services boards. There's no agencies except for the state level that can help you. But then the state level is so backlogged with cases that they can't help you. Like it's just like with the skit where the poor guy basically throws your file into a filing cabinet and says, "You're in my system. I'll take care of you when I can." Yeah, because Winston's so smart, there's so small, there is no in-town support for anybody. There used to be, but what happened is the town couldn't afford to continue the program anymore, and so people basically got lost in the system and all the paperwork shuffle, and I was one of them. Willimantic was worse, except at least there I did have a case manager named Ben Shires at DSS. That was when DSS workers actually worked with you. But now they don't have that agency anymore doing with case management. And even more so, you're just a number in somebody's filing cabinet. They may never see you. They may never talk to you in person. And that's scary. So, yeah, Winston is a small, tiny little town of about 4,000 people in downtown Winstead. And a lot of them are very poor or elderly. It's a Belgian community, and it's a beautiful place, but unfortunately, when it comes to support for the handicapped, you're screwed.
Well, I don't think so, Michelle. I just think that we need to do a little bit of research, and I think you'll see that there's more support than you realize.
Exactly what R11H30 said. Yes, it is a different world from where he's from. It's completely different. It doesn't have the urban programs that he was familiar with. Because he lives in a larger city. Even Torrington doesn't have the programs that we need. And Torrington's a major city in our county, and they don't even have those programs. But what they have is a little bit more. But Winston has virtually zero. And New Hartford and Goshen have even less. So does Colebrook. Yeah. I was so much to get through to you. What do you mean by that, Brian? You can come on the panel whenever you want, Brian.
Well, it's kind of like what I felt like. I feel like I'm in a loop with you, Michelle, where I say that there's help for you, and then you bat it away and say there isn't help. We're
Metal
going
Kitty
through this
said something
constant loop.
very, very poignant here. She says, the western parts of the New England states are kind of weird. Yes, they are. It's not like the eastern parts, where there's more support.
Those have eyes kind of weird. Wow.
Hills have eyes kind of weird. I've never seen hills with eyes, but I know what you're talking about. Trust me. I know what you're talking about. Hi, Brian. Your head will explode trying to. No, I mean psychologically. Oh, okay. I just don't understand why the system is so messed up like it is. I mean, is it like somebody had a good idea and it just kind of got carved up into itty bitty little pieces somewhere, and then basically nobody's managing the itty bitty little pieces, and then the individuals that need those itty bitty little pieces can't get the help because they don't know who's managing the itty bitty little pieces. That's what I think's happening. So out here in the East, listen, Connecticut, exactly right, you have to maintain your own. You have to do everything on your own. Because in the fiercely independent nature of Connecticut,
and fail her through her life. That I understand her situation. I get it. I understand it. She feels like she needs to do everything on her own, but she can't.
Right, exactly.
I understand it completely, Michelle. And I'm sure everybody else understands it too.
As I said, I'm sure there are many who watch this show on their phones or on their computers and go, gee, I feel the same way. You know, like I've been abandoned by the system and left for dead.
Well, let's show them, Michelle, that it can happen, because it can. I've already did the little bit of research I've done, and I've already found things that will change your life drastically.
Well, that would be nice.
It's going to take, yeah, and I think everybody here, the entire 20 people that are here right now watching, they all want the same thing for you.
Now, see, if Winston was a ghetto, you would get a lot more support in Winston if it was a ghetto. Because it would be the community supporting you. That's what a ghetto does. A ghetto supports each other.
No, they don't, Michelle.
Well,
you don't know that. You don't live in a ghetto, Michelle. They don't support each other. They bring each other down, if anything. That's the farthest thing from what the ghetto does. I'm sorry, but it's not.
Maybe
not
a modern ghetto does, but the original ghettos
were
like on Good Times, maybe to show Good Times. But yeah, we're in 2022
right,
here.
Exactly.
It's a doggy dog world out there in the ghetto, Michelle. I promise you.
Well, maybe the modern ghetto is like that, but that's not originally what a ghetto was. A ghetto was more like a group of people, similar issues, working together to assist each other. That was the original meaning of a ghetto. That's the term I'm using here. Like I said, language is a funny thing because it changes. So is my version of ghetto wrong? No, it's dated though. But, hey, you know what? It's still a ghetto. It's just the older definition of ghetto. Ethnic communities, maybe that'd be more accurate. We don't even have that. We don't have a sense of community in Winston because everybody's like little Helen Reddy's little ruby red dress. Leave me alone. Don't bother me. You take care of it. Don't bother me. Leave me alone. I don't want to help you. Get out of my face. That, unfortunately, is what Winston has become, as is a large part of the Litchfield County. There isn't anybody who wants to help anybody. People don't help their neighbors. They rob them and shoot them up. Yeah, Modern ghettos, they do. But Winston doesn't have that sense of community at all. We don't even have even the original definition of a ghetto because everybody wants to stay isolated, insular. And so those people are feeling kind of like, I have to do it all on my own. There's no one to help me. And that's hard enough if you have anxiety issues and you have Asperger's or autistic spectrum. You're like, oh my God, how am I going to go on? How do I get this help when nobody even knows where to go? That's why this channel is very useful for people that come in and watch these shows because they might be feeling the same way. But then somebody might drop a nugget that potentially unclogs the anxiety for the person, or at least moves it down the sewer pipe. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like when you clog your toilet. Someone's going to go out there with the plunger. You know, where's the plunger? The plunger might be that little nugget that somebody says, like, oh, I talked to so-and-so at this agency about my situation, and I might just call the same agency, and they might be able to help me out, even if I was in another state. That might be a start kind of thing. But with all the alphabet soup of agencies out there, there's so many potential agencies to call. I'm not even sure which ones to call. Some ghettos are in disguise as well. Don't even know you are in one. Brian K, at this point, I would say at the immediate point, the answer is no. At the immediate point. Doesn't mean he couldn't. Because he's facing his own concerns and fears. And, I mean, let's see if I can get me moved. Because I do need a better place anyway. This place is getting a little small. But it's better than no place at all. But the thing is that it's really becoming a bit difficult to work around here on the third floor. Sometimes. Michelle would be the happiest in a nice cabin somewhere, but her disabilities would never allow it. Yeah.
I don't know if Michelle would be. Michelle, I don't, because one of the things that I hear come out of you is that you miss the socializing with
the soup kitchen,
the senior center, right? I think you miss that, right? You want to be around people.
I want to be able. I used to be able to go to the soup kitchen, and I had the ability to talk to people. We don't have that anymore because of the pandemic. When the soup kitchen closed, there was no community. There's no one to talk to. I told his dad. I said, like,
and I think that would be good for you too. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think that would help you.
But the problem is everybody's so scared of the pandemic. How do you get people to say, hey, we need those programs? Because everybody's afraid of getting sick. And at the same time, with everything being locked down and the cases of mental illness are on the rise, as is alcoholism and substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you fix that?
You don't. You have to worry about yourself.
But you can't even get the help you need because if you feel lost like a dog in high weeds, where do you go? What's the next step? That's the question a lot of people in my situation are asking. The anxiety is bad.
We're going to figure that out, Michelle. We're going to figure that out.
Yeah.
Time to call Soup Kitchen, Michelle. See what they're serving for lunch today. Daily Soup Kitchen call. All right, let's see what they're having today, Michelle. Any guesses, anyone? Sure. Hey, my friend, what are you serving for the foods today?
Yeah.
You ran out of food. Terrible, my friend. All right, thank you. Ran out of food. Huh. Must have been something good today, or not enough.
In other words, everybody got all the lunches, so there's no food left.
Is that what happens? I guess that's good.
Because it's 12:19, so everybody basically got the lunches.
Yeah. Got to be quick at the open door soup kitchen.
Yeah. They start serving at 11 They originally started 11:30, and then they started a little later to like 11:45 to 12:45. But now, like you said, they already gave all the food already.
Yeah. Are you a lunch person, Michelle, or do you just do like breakfast and dinner?
I usually just do breakfast and dinner. This morning I had Honey Nut Cheerios, so
I'm usually the same. I gotta try and eat more lunch. Yeah, I'm gonna try and eat lunch.
The fact is,
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Oh, by the way, here's some potential good news, guys. Well, the Blinded Billionaire didn't have a list of the 22 states that are doing this. 22 states are going to continue offering the emergency pandemic food stamp program increase. I think Connecticut is one of them, but I'm not sure. He says he's going to have his wife, Corey, read off the list of the 22 states offering emergency pandemic food stamp relief in January.
My black godson gives food stamps.
Yeah.
That's good, Michelle. Hopefully Connecticut, Michigan, anyone who needs it, you can get those extra.
I think Michigan is one of the states that does have it, that did extend the program. So the problem is that, it's going to be important. Because if you earn a fixed income, that means that with the food stamps and the high price of things going on, you're going to be able to get the food stamps to pay for your groceries. So you can focus your money that you have towards bills and rent and things like that, which is still a major step in the right direction.
I need to get on that goddamn EBT card for real.
Metal Kitty says, I'm fortunate I live in a very nice place, but we pay a lot of rent too. Yeah. Oh, sorry, she didn't say rent, but we pay a lot too, she said. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Brian, it won't be. What did Brian say? So this is a giant revolving track repeating itself over and over with a mad cacophony as building for a climatic meeting. You know what I think would be interesting is to do a meetup. If we could somehow do it in person. But the only problem, I mention that because I think we always see each other online, but we never actually talk to each other in person. I think it would be really kind of cool if we could ever try to get together and do a meetup. How?
I might fondle your ears, Michelle.
Everybody lives so far away from each other. Like Blazing Leo lives over 12 hours away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Metal Kitty's a lot closer. FC lives far away too. It would take him at least 24 hours to get here. Craig could be here in about 4 to 8 hours.
If we get you into a new place, you can have like a housewarming party or something.
Yeah. Could we actually rent a house? We could rent a house. Yeah. Maybe we can get a house that we rent to own. Maybe.
We'll see, Michelle.
She's so vested in her own poisoning.
Michelle, do you and Rusty want to come move into my basement, Michelle? Want to come move to Detroit?
By the way, for those of you guys who wonder where Rusty is, he's sleeping in the bedroom right now. But I don't know about Rusty would want to move into anybody's basement. No, he's got a lot to stay here for too. He's that's another thing too. I mean, he's been here since he was a kitten. He knows this building. He knows his neighbors. He knows his backyard.
Rusty some new neighbors.
But I mean, he's more willing to move since he's been inside more than outside lately.
Get Michelle in the hood with her elf ears on. That'd be awesome. Go hang out at the liquor store, Michelle. Talk to the vagrants, the crazies.
You know, that's a funny thing. People never ever complain about my ears. I actually like my ears. A lot of people say those ears are cool.
Yeah, they like them over here. Might have to tan them up a bit. They'd like them over here, for sure.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I said, so if we were ever to get a meetup going,
we all should wear ears at the meetup.
Like I was going to try that a couple years ago, and nobody was interested. Michelle, last time you tried to have a meetup, your channel was a tiny little podunk channel that only had about 100 subscribers.
You're more popular now. Yeah, you're more popular now, Michelle. You're basically a household name at this point. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
How you doing, Tiger Kitty?
It'd be really cool to meet up. Have like a meet up with you, Michelle. Maybe like a weekend thing. Can hang out, have meals.
Well, maybe you and Leo could carpool together and save gas money.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring you some treats. Yeah, it'd be a good time.
Yeah.
We'll have to get through this goddamn pandemic first, you know.
Yeah, that pandemic is like an endless loop that doesn't end either.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going away anytime soon, especially over here. I think there's 250,000 cases each day.
On a wire says I'm a 39-hour car ride from Michelle.
Woo.
Brian K said my family all knows about Michelle.
You're a household name, Michelle.
5-day flight for me. Andrew probably would like to meet up too, but again, he has to travel by plane too, or by ship, transatlantic liner. He's gonna have to travel by ship or by plane, and it's gonna take a while to get here. And that's what I'm saying, for some of the faraway people, it would be almost impossible to get everybody on the same place. Transportation logistics.
Yeah.
6-hour date, 6-hour drive for Tiger Kitty.
It's not bad.
It's 12 hours for me, but I've done 19 straight before, so I could do it.
How much easier would it be if you were to take Amtrak?
The train?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to get on a train. I've never rode one before.
What's that, like a day and a half trip, Michelle? 2-day trip on the train? How long would it take on the train? 2 days?
Well, it takes about 24 hours to get to Florida by train, so it certainly is faster than driving a car because someone else is driving for you. And you can bet there would be changing trains a couple times at least, because it'd be just like getting on the bus route.
What about hot air balloon, Michelle?
Not even hot. I just had the tape too.
Hot air balloon?
I just had the
push what? Yeah, they do nice sleepy cars. You legit look super cozy. What? On my way out to push Ed. Oh. I am in February. What does that mean? Okay. Yeah, so like I said, I mean, that's something that I wanted to do a couple of years ago, which at the time, I was just a tiny channel, like no one was like interested. So I said, fuck it. I'm not going to book any kind of arrangements because there's no one interested even to do a daily meetup thing. And I know the fact that now with the pandemic, everybody's afraid of getting sick. So I don't know how that would work either.
Yeah,
I'm in Boston. Girl Bridget was going to come down here. She ended up basically not making it down here. Craig Sr. went to come up here, but right now his wife's mental issues is concern for him as his own physical health. So he can't make it either. And it would be nice to get see everybody together. They get to see, what we all look like, talk about things that don't always have to occur on YouTube. Tiger King says, where I am in February, what does that mean? Typically, she said the answer typically is, he says, that's sick, Tiger Kitty. I'm going to smash Ed's change. No, you're not. Oh, because all seriousness, that would be patently illegal. I mean, I know what Jimmy's doing is apparently patently illegal, but doing that is even more illegal. That's willful destruction of private property. Not acceptable. Queen Latifah can't make it because Queen Latifah, I heard, has passed away. For those of you who don't know who she was one of the earlier YouTubers that was on some of the early panels with. I was told that she had passed on. I don't know if this is necessarily true, but she did like being on the show, and I did talk to her in private. But then I heard that she passed away, and I did a show talking about that. And from talking to her in private, she was really a very good person, and she had a lot to say at the time. Well, how many people are still on here? Oh, you have a few anyway. Let's see.
They love it.
17. 19. Wow. The morning shows are becoming more popular right now than the night shows. Yeah. According to the graph peak, we actually look like we went up to about 27 people at one point. From what I can see in the graph here. So here's one thing I want to remind people about this channel. If you are new here and you never thought about what this channel was about. This channel, in some ways, is a support channel for people that sometimes need help or need someone to talk to that, we can talk about things. Yeah, it's called, it's my personal YouTube channel that is the one I started out with. It's not focused specifically on North American Snow Queen work, but it does cover that. It's ironic because I created a North American Snow Queen channel and we haven't done anything in there since 2019. Because it was just an extra channel that was created that was supposed to be focused on the North American Snow Queen work, but let's be honest, the job isn't exactly the most exciting thing in the world, where you need to have a whole channel just dedicated to it. But it's there, Same thing with Welcome to My World, which originally was created for my cover my cable TV program, which I canceled that program years ago, but the channel still remained, and so I turned it into a gaming channel. But we're not even playing games on that anymore. Now we're doing games on this channel, just as we've been doing the North American Snow Queen things on this channel. So really, we don't need the other channels. And what about my channel? We haven't done anything on my channel for years. I know. We haven't covered anything. But then part of the problem is I can't think of anything to really cover on my channel that we haven't covered on this channel. That's a question. Thank you, JMJ. Likewise, just Miss Jamie. I guess that's JMJ is. Hello, Metal Kitty. I hope you're having a good day. Noodle says, I'm going to Teen Wolf all of its beers.
Michelle, do you have the Lumi wig still?
I still have the wig. We don't need it as much anymore.
Should let Lumi put the wig on.
That was the reason why when the hair was brown, Michelle didn't have to worry about the wig. I want a longer wig than that one.
You should put the wig on one day, Michelle, and let her host some of the show for a bit with her wig on. Yeah,
Michelle could put the wig on with the ears on.
You should put the wig on, Michelle, and introduce some of the newer people to Lumi and Fedestra.
Well, I have my own channel for that. People can always go to it.
Well, yeah, but, like you said, Michelle, Lumi, like you said, you haven't done anything on that one in years, and, it'd be nice to see you in the wig, Lumi. It's been a while.
Wait a second. First of all, I can stream in my channel after this one. Yeah.
Yeah, you could. But you won't.
But just do me a favor, Michelle, please. What? Change the background, or don't even have to. Just turn off the green screen. Okay, and like it's like really, it's bad enough that the camera is like sitting up there at the angle, and it's like it's because there's this pole on the desk on the stand here. It's in the way. It's why I speak like it was. Otherwise, the camera would have been more straight on, or like the other camera is. The other camera.
Yeah, Lumi don't want any of that fancy pageantry, Michelle. She wants the pure camera on her.
Well,
None
I mean, like
fancy...
the second camera here, like the one that Michelle's switching on right now, is fine. Hi guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the only problem is you don't see the chat on the screen. Right, you don't see the chat on the screen. That's about the only thing that's really kind of a downer. Or I can add the chat on the screen. Yeah. What is that supposed to be, like score or something? Score! Oh, whatever. Whatever. Alright, so...
Michelle, what does Lumi look like? I mean, she just looks like you with different colored hair, or...
Well... Yeah, kind of, but not quite. Eyebrows are different. A little bit bigger eyebrows, a little skinnier, younger looking. I look younger. She looks a little younger. Okay, I didn't know anything about the age.
Bullshit, Lumi, you're 100,
even though I'm
like
185 years old.
There's no way you look younger than Michelle. Lumi, you're 160 some years old.
I'm
sorry,
185 years old.
Yeah, there's no way you look younger than Michelle. She's only 53.
Well, I don't know.
Impossible. No, it's impossible.
Actually, remember, it's the soul that's the soul age. It's 185 in this my life, but that doesn't mean you can't look young. After all, look at some famous actors and actresses out there. Some of them are old, and yet they look like they're in their 40s. And they might be in the 80s. That's
like
true.
Who? Like who, for example? Who in their 80s looks like they're in their 40s?
What about Brooke Shields? Oh, yeah. What about Lonnie Anderson?
They're old. Like Betty White, she's 100. She looks it.
No, but some of them actually look pretty good for their age. What about Jane Fonda? I mean, they're not bad for their age. I mean, they're still older now from what I've seen of them, but they're not bad looking.
That's a lot of cosmetic surgeries, though.
Right. Well, I don't need cosmetic surgery. Right.
Right. But I mean, that's why they look good for their age.
Right.
Yeah. How many cosmetic surgeries have you had, Lumi?
0.
Oh, well, there you go. I bet you look 185.
Just as Michelle never had one either. Yeah, I want to get a lifestyle lift. Good luck. You're not gonna. You're really Michelle. You're not gonna have the money for that. Just like for example, Michelle kept saying that she wants to save money to get her teeth fixed. Well, yeah. Sure, I can get regular medical insurance if I want to pay for it out of my own pocket, but the premiums are kind of high.
What are your thoughts on vagina rejuvenation, Michelle? Do you feel that women should get their vagina
I don't know.
I
have no idea. I guess it depends on the individual, and I'm not even sure what the process is. But
like a lift and a tightening, or like if you just want to do the budget one, you could just sit in a bathtub with a bunch of vinegar.
Oh, I mean, like I said, it depends on the individual's decisions. I mean, some people are not, depending on who you are, they may not even be a big deal, you know.
Fair enough.
I still love that. Yeah. They get rid of the double chin, triple chin. And then they can also do something with your gut. They can go ahead, take a big giant knife, slice your gut open, scoop all the fat out, and stitch it back shut again. Yeah, because I don't think liposuction is going to work when you got as much flab as Michelle does. Yeah, let's go ahead and strip mine. Here, I take this knife. I knock you out. Here you go. Here's the sodium pentothal. You're down. Slice open. Get my
Michelle.
scoop in there. Start scooping it up. And then I'll convert it into biodiesel later for my truck so I can still go to my next appointment.
Michelle, what would you have them do with all the fat from your hyposuction? Would you have them put it in your lips? Make you some big lips?
Back then, they didn't even do any kind of
use it for
plastic
ears.
surgery.
Would you put it in your ears to make elf ears? The fat from your hyposuction? Would you
You
put
know
it in your
what?
ears?
That's a good point with the extra skin. That's exactly where they would get it from.
You get hyposuction and cut your gut up and make some elf.
No, they would take because once you take all the scoop out all the fat, what are you gonna do with the skin that's gonna be flopping around? Well, eventually it would shrink. Yeah, but you need it for the ears. So I'd be like,
loose.
hey doctor, let's do a twofer. You scoop up my fat, you put it into your car's engines you drive with. You wanna go? And then at the same time you shape the skin and turn it into ears. Which actually is something they do in certain cases. Most time when people want little ear jobs, they're usually not that big, but you're talking huge ears, and they're like, oh my God, where am I going to get all that skin? And they have artificial cartilage also. Plastic surgery. Just something Michelle want to talk about. Let me take these earphones off. You can see the ears here, the size of the ears. Yeah, this is like a couple of 6-packs of skin right here. Yeah, on one ear. So they would have to basically make a skin calzone. Ew. Okay, I gotta cut this weird shape here. So I'm gonna take this piece of flab of your skin, see? I'm gonna slice it up. I'm gonna then shape it. I'm going to put synthetic cartilage inside, and then I'm going to do what they call an oiloplasty, and I'm going to splice it under existing ears. Oh, my God. That's pretty much what they do. It's pretty much what they do in plastic surgery. That's what the guy did in Argentina to make his ears. He spent $32,000 plus another procedures to look like a blood elf. He actually spent He spent a huge portion of that was on the ears alone because of skin grafts. Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of money. You don't have that. You need to get your teeth fixed first. Yeah, those are more important. They could plump your uterus. I don't think Michelle's worried so much about her nether regions. I don't think she's interested in worrying about that right now. Yeah. Oh, I read it. Hey, doctor, why don't you go ahead and resplice my kneecap back together? How many hours do you want to be sitting on the table, sir, my lady? I don't know. You got me knocked out cold for the summer, right? Yeah. And you got the whole entire 6 months to do it. Medically comatose for 6 months. 3 months, actually. So, either way. So you're saying is, okay, doctor, I'm going to be knocked out cold for 3 months. Go ahead, slice me open. Connie, I don't care. That's how yeah, but realistically, though, if they were to fix your kneecap like that, how are you going to get into physical therapy? You're going to have to basically get used to using a kneecap again. Yeah. I can't believe they still use metal. They don't even use any of the newer for that. They would have to wire the two kneecap pieces back together. I mean, is the titanium wire strong enough? I don't know what the tensile strength of titanium is, but I suppose it's pretty strong.
Well, that's the strongest metal out there, isn't it? Titanium?
Yeah, it's hard. It has a high ductile strength. I don't know about tensile strength, though. So you're talking about basically fusing two bones or broken pieces of a bone back into one bone. And I don't know if that would be... I might just have to replace the whole kneecap in some cases. In that case, it gets even more scary because then you have to basically take the broken kneecap out, and then they're going to have to attach a synthetic kneecap with screws to your existing tendons. Oh, ugh, yeah, it's not a nice thought. That's like really, really painful. Because if you were from Michelle's kneecap is now, it's way above her knee. It's so high up because all the tendons that they were attached to had pulled it up. Yeah, so it's right above her femur. Yeah, it's way up there now. So the first few months that they have to do that to pull the two pieces together, you're going to be basically feeling like someone put your leg on a rack. Ugh. Thought about calling Dory to see if she would be willing to house it. No, she can't. Lieutenant Dan had titanium leg strong enough for him. Only problem with titanium is
Lieutenant Dan, I got you some ice cream.
I don't know if you can ever go in an MRI after you get titanium. I don't think titanium is ferrous. So theoretically, I don't think you would have a problem going through an MRI. But the minute you try to go through a body scan or an X-ray at the airport, it's going to be like, beep, 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 beep. 1 moment, please step aside. And then they pull out the hand one. What's this in your leg? Oh, that's my knee replacement. Ah. Now can I go ahead and board my plane?
I think that's why they use titanium.
All right, now go with the music.
I think that's why they use titanium though, because it's not a metal that's picked up on MRI and airport.
And also has tensile strength. But I think right now that they're also been experimenting with other types of plastics in modern. And also, by the way, like somebody asked me about the cartilage for the elf ears. They have created a synthetic cartilage that can be used for plastic surgeries too. That can be used to provide for cartilage loss. So obviously, if you make the ears out of skin tissue, you're going to need to put some cartilage in, and they have synthetic cartilage that will provide the strength and the flexibility of natural cartilage, which is actually a form of a plastic material. I don't know if you have to take it out every 10 years or something. I have no idea. Yeah, doctor, can I please have a skin calzone, please, for my head?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because every time I hear about hip replacement, knee replacement, it's always like every 10 years. It's like, wait. So, you give me ability to walk in an installment plan. Exactly what it would be, right? Your installment plan is up. Time to come back into the shop. You gotta go ahead and go through another installment plan for another 10 years. I just got done paying for the first 10. That's not my problem. Your knees will self-destruct in approximately 3 years from now if you don't do it. Beep, 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 beep. And like you're going to basically yell at the doctor, like, why are you telling me this now? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Make an appointment now, because it's before your knees self-destruct. Cadaver cartilage is really common for what Michelle is interested in. Yeah, but isn't cadaver cartilage like, isn't your body gonna reject it? I've never seen so much cartilage for such ears. I mean, where are you gonna get it from? The nose? Well, there is cartilage in the nose. There is cartilage in your own ears. Yeah, my cartilage in my natural ears is so friggin' soft, it doesn't even provide any rigidity. Cruiser's cartilage is much more rigid, so that's why his ears point out straight like a Doberman, and my ears flop around almost like a basset hound. Oh, not that bad.
Excuse me. Are you DTF?
Hello, Candice Marie. How you doing? Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, though. But like we said once before, as far as the ears go, you're 53 years old, and you're going to be kicking the bucket, saying at least in about 40 years. 40 years. And then your next life, you're going to be going to the real Silvermoon. So why would you want to spend $32,000, for example, to do an ear job, when by that time, you're only going to be able to enjoy it for 40 years. 40 years. Never mind all the pain and suffering recovery time. You would definitely not be able to miss me in the crowd with my bullet elf ear sticking out.
No.
I was just
You
listening.
definitely stand out.
Yeah, that would definitely stand out. Ideally, no rejection. They treat the tissue before implantation, but there's always a risk of rejection with those types of procedures. Right, and I know that they're working out on, as I said, cartilage in larger quantities, made out of a type of polymer plastics. Yeah. But doesn't that also mean that they're going to use in the plasticizer like BPA to make the ear soft enough to do something? Joe Perry wants to come on real quick here. Speak quickly. Hello.
Doing good in the neighborhood.
I love that one.
I get clogged toilets when I poop. Can you tell me something? Can I turn you on, Leo, or not? Right, thank you. Okay, it's almost time to have a butt that won't quit. It's almost time to get ready to wrap it up anyway. It's getting close, yeah. So we had a good show this morning. We covered a lot of ground, a lot of stuff. I think some of what we talked about may actually be an insight a little bit to what's going on behind the scenes, about my fears. Mm-hmm. And I think that was important to bring them up. Maybe if it doesn't directly solve the problem now, but at least now you understand it's not so cut and dry simple for some people that have, autistic spectrum, physical and emotional handicaps. And then you're trying to deal with this issues that we kept picking up, and the fears. They are based in real fears. And edging the show. Frankie said,
Michelle, I think she said she was taking a nap after the show, Metal Kitty.
Yeah, I was going to take one after the show. But anyway, Brian K says,
the night show tonight.
For ears, they will grow the cartilage on a genetically modified rat and then harvest it and place it into the patient. I don't think a rat's going to make enough ears for Michelle. I think they would have to use a swine or a hog, and then for the amount of skin cartilage needed to support those ears if she got it done surgically. I mean, it's... Yeah, do we get a chance to eat the pig afterwards? Oh, I don't know about that, but yeah, I don't know what the pig would taste like. I don't know either. Because I don't know. I probably would ask that they could check it out into maybe using a synthetic plastic material. Similar to what they do for pigs for cardiac parts, for hearts, for valves. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Good. Me too, I am old. Yeah, I do take naps because it's kind of become a regular thing. Yes, me and Ed sleep in the bed together, but that's okay because that's also kind of like he likes laying in the bed with me. So we don't do anything funny, but we just sleep, Because right now he's resting. Like I said last night, he was up. He did lay down a bit, but on the couch. But then I got up. He comes in the bedroom. Then I go out here, do the show, take out the garbage, clean the dishes, and then I come back in there later on. You gotta get tobacco today. I gotta get tobacco today. Oh yeah. What else do we gotta do? I don't know. I mean, we've covered a lot of different things for the house that we need. We have some projects we want to work on. I want something fun to talk about real quick here. One of the things that we have to do occasionally is fix up the Ethernet cables in the apartment, because some of the Ethernet cables have kind of become damaged because the stupid stake down clips on the Category 5 cables have come apart and they're not making good connections. So we have to redo with all those wires. So we need not only the RJ45s, but the Category 5E female connectors. And I told Ed the sad reality is I'm not exactly looking forward to sitting there in that wiring closet and with a punch down tool and re-punch every single connector and then put it into another panel mount. That's kind of sucks with your knees because you have to go all the way to the ground and do it all the way on the baseboard because that's where our jack panel is. I'll do it. Oh yeah, you need a new one of these. This thing is pretty much gone. It's starting to get wind pop now. Yeah, I can get one of those today. What? No, actually, I've been using tobacco since I was in middle school. I've been using tobacco since I was in middle school. It's very nice. I'm thinking I don't drink, at least not on a regular basis. Anyway, well, just get a windscreen. Yeah. It's not that expensive. It was like $5. Generic windscrreen like this.
I'm confused. The other night you said you went and got tobacco and you put some in your lip. It sits in there, right? And you're supposed to spit.
Michelle, this was a very small amount and just sucks on it. Yeah.
You swallow your spit?
Yep. Just like.
Oh, I don't think that's good.
Yeah, Michelle doesn't use as much as she used to. She used to go through a can a week. She goes through a can a month and a half. Month. Yeah, so she's. The noodles are.
I think they're just making statements of what Ed says.
Yeah, I know.
He's not going to interrupt your show, is he? And you're going to make sure you eat before your show, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. I'm going to see about getting some frozen. I don't know. I don't really want frozen pizza, but maybe I might just get some. Like I told Ed, I said another thing I said, I know when you want to eat is after the show's over. There's no reason to interrupt me and say, Michelle, eat now. We're going to eat now. Well, the show starts from 7 to 9. There's no reason why you should interrupt me. I'm not going to be done before 9.
But he could eat without you. Why does he have to wait for you?
Exactly. He doesn't have to wait for me. Because he knows my show, he doesn't eat until about 10 o'clock anyway. So, what's the problem? If I come in there at 9 o'clock and eat what's there, it's fine. It's not going to screw you up. Because you don't eat until 10 o'clock anyway. Yeah. Well, how many people still on here? 19, 21. Well,
yeah, you still got a lot of people. Make sure you invite him back to your night show. Remind him about your night show.
Okay. Yeah, I will. And I said I'll try to give you a call about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I would do, Michelle, is why don't you get a new windscreen for the microphone? This one's actually holes are actually starting to form in it. Oh, hole just did. Yeah, it's kind of useless anyway. Yeah. Just get a new windscreen. And then, of course, we can use your debit card to get the tobacco. So you don't have to use the. I'm sorry, you don't have to use your money in the bank because or the money sitting the 155.22 is in the bank account, so you don't have to use it. Just use your PayPal. Yeah. All right, guys. Everybody, I'm gonna see you guys later on the panel. So I'll see you guys tonight, 7. Leo, I'll try to call you about 5 on Discord.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. All right, so panel, I'm just going to leave the call so you guys can talk to each other if you want. For now. All right? Have a nice, guys, on the panel. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
All right, Michelle. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that's that. Let's see. Is there any last-minute things to cover? 23 people on here. Let's see. I branded her red. Buyer Michelle, do you think you could possibly personally kill Ed? Why would they want to kill Ed? I'm not. I mean, physically, I am quite capable of overpowering a lot of people. But I'm not. I don't have a vindictive bone in my body. I've always been a very calm person. I've always been a humanitarian. I've always been a person that supports people. So I don't have the kind of personality of being aggressive. My name is actually, that's something that probably can't easily happen because Jimmy would lose out because he would also lose Ed too. Because Ed cannot afford this apartment by himself. No. This is too expensive for him. And even Ed doesn't want to be on the 3rd floor anyway. Right, with his health. He's even less mobile than me. I'm actually more capable than Ed. Well, Kenny, what's so gross? I mean, aren't you so net? Yeah, I mean, like, gross, like in gross profit versus net profit. The computer equipment, I probably... Yeah. All right, guys, so we'll talk about that, with Leo. So if you want to bring your concerns up to Leo, I would do that. Just talk to Leo on Discord. Oh, for those of you who don't know, who are new, visiting, you can check out the Discord page. And also, don't forget, so here's the Discord link. Also, check out our online store, too. Yeah. Those two things will be great. And also, we have a Patreon page, which you can also listen to Silvermoon Radio. Patreon. Yeah, check out the Patreon page, too. And there's a lot of good stuff there. Some prior shows, music shows, my writings, my books I'm working on. Yeah. And I'm dissecting about the way Ed's... He doesn't smell that bad. He's pretty neutral smell, but Yeah, he still smells a little bit. Yeah. It's not really stink, no. Ugh. All right, guys. So I'll see you guys later. Stay out of trouble. See you tonight, 7 o'clock is the night show. We'll try to have something to do. We'll do some tarot card readings tonight. Tarot card tonight. Yes, we will do tarot card readings. If you want a reading, one super chat donation for like $1 or something, I'll pull up your tarot cards. So for a $1 donation on super chat, I will do your reading for you. That sounds good. You know, I mean, and you still, it's not really that much money. I mean, some tarot card readers, of course, charge a lot more than that. Michelle's just starting out. So you want to put $1 in for the super chat readings for tonight, 7 o'clock. We can see what happens. Right. Yes, there will be phone calls. Yes, there will be piano. Yep. All right, guys. See you guys later. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything dumb, and we'll see